Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to get you styled up with Stitch Fix. Shopping's hard. It's hard. With Stitch Fix, you get a stylist, though, who understands your style, your size, your budget, and they do all the shopping for you.
Wow.
This is excellent. Shopping, I'm telling you, shopping and figure out your style, it's overwhelming. Let somebody help you when it comes to getting dressed. We don't know what we're doing, so we let Stitch Fix help us out. A Stitch Fix stylist there. They know what works on us. We get the prices that make us look really good, and it feels good. You get some confidence boost walking around knowing that you're looking decent here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we just give the stylist our sizes, style, budget preferences. We order boxes when we want, how we want, no subscription or any of that required. And they send called Just For Me pieces as well. Like, maybe you'd like this, and it's awesome. Outfit recommendations, styling tips. You keep what you love, you send back the rest. It's super easy.
Yep.
You can do it, and we are doing it because it's excellent. Personal styling for everyone. Get started today at stitchfix.com/STM. That's stitchfix.com/STM.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you about Noom. Has Noom helped you? I believe it has.
Oh, that's got an app. You can do tracking. It's terrific.
It does. Noom builds personal plans that can meet individual needs. That's the thing. Takes into account any dietary restrictions, medical issues, other personal needs. That helps build a plan that works for you. And yes, so I know that you've had your own personalized program here that you've been working on. And
it's weight loss This is weight loss results that last. They stick around because you get yourself into a lifestyle change. That's what matters.
That's mainly it. You can't just say, I'm going to cut that out for a month and then go back to it. That's not what it is. So I'm glad it's helping you. That's great. And it really does. I like the psychology and biology-based approach here. Yeah. Noom Weight uses psychology. That's why they say losing weight starts with your brain, but it also takes into account your unique biological factors, Jimmy. All of your multitude flora and fauna that goes on inside of you there.
Sure. Yeah.
Stay focused on what's important to you with Noom's psychology and biology-based approach. Sign up for your trial today at Noom.com, Noom.com here. Based on 3.5-year study of actively engaged Noom users with minimum starting BMI of 25. Individual results may vary. Visit our website for more information.
Welch's knows some things make zero sense, like why the algorithm knows your music tastes better than you do. But zero sugar and full flavor? We made that make sense with new Welch's Zero Sugar. All that passion fruit or tropical punch goodness and none of the sugar. You gotta sip it to get it. New Welch's Zero Sugar. Let's fruit stuff up.
This week, in Raccoon, Kentucky, a sinister plot turns into reality and takes the form of 13 stab wounds and half of a head missing, but that's only the start of this twisted tale. Welcome to Small Town Murder. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Small Town Murder.
Yay!
Oh, yay indeed, Jimmy. Yay indeed. My name is James Petrogallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmy Wissman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us today on another wild, crazy, insane edition of Small Town Murder. This one today is one of those, sometimes we have an episode where I go, this here is what Small Town Murder is all about. Okay. This is what Small Town Murder is all about right here. This is just absolutely wild. We got to keep the town stuff pretty short, but it's so crazy that it's almost as good as the murder. It's wild.
Great.
Can't wait to tell everybody about it. Before we get to that, first, reviews. Thank you for those very much. Whatever app you're listening on, 5 stars is very much appreciated.
Yeah, they help. Yeah.
Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now. All sorts of stuff. We have all of our merch up there. T-shirts, mugs, bath mats, you name it. We have it, all that good stuff. Murder Bird merchandise is up now. Coloring books are there. Those are so cool, the coloring books, by the way. Yeah. And, of course, tickets for all the live shows throughout the country. If you see a live show is sold out, keep checking because these are rescheduled shows, so people are allowed to return tickets. So new tickets pop up every once in a while. People have moved from 3 years ago when they bought these tickets, so who knows?
Everybody lives in the same place.
That's what I'm saying. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you're going to get all of the good stuff, all of the bonus stuff.
Yeah.
Anybody $5 or above, you are going to get access to everything we do bonus-wise on Patreon. Crime and sports episodes, small town murder episodes, all of them. You're going to get it all. And this week, the episodes are wonderful here. We're going to get, for crime and sports, we love a scammer, okay?
Yeah, we do.
This week, we're going to get a guy who entered a NASCAR race in like 1979, wasn't a race car driver,
No.
faked a bunch of qualifications, crashed like 5 times, and then disappeared and was never heard from again. And then like a month ago, he came out and said, okay, here, let me tell you the story. I'm the guy. It's hilarious. You got to hear it. And then
Here's what happened.
Here's what happened. Then for Small Town Murder, we're going to kind of piggyback on an episode a few weeks ago when we had the Grand Theft Auto 3 being blamed for a murderous teenager. We're going to go back in time and see all the times when pop culture was blamed for murder, whether it be music, this kid listened to that song, then killed his friend. It must have been the song. Or
I guess it was numerous.
Video games. It's happened quite often. And from the West Memphis 3 on back and on forward even. It's still going on. So we'll check all that out. Patreon.com/crime and sports. And, of course, you'll get a shout-out at the end of the show.
You bet.
Because that's how much we appreciate what you're doing. Thank you so much for what you do there. Disclaimer, quickly. It's a comedy show. We're comedians. Now, that doesn't mean the story isn't real. The story is 1,000% real. It is, unfortunately, all too real, the stories. But we're going to make jokes because we're comedians. We're going to make jokes about, murderers. We'll make fun of a murderer. That's pretty easy.
For sure.
What we don't do, what we go out of our way not to do, is we don't make fun of the victims or the victims' families because we're assholes. But we're not scumbags, Jimmy.
There it is.
That's it right there. So if that sounds good to you, oh my goodness, are you in for a wild story? If you think true crime and comedy should never, ever, never mix, I don't know. Maybe you're not for us. Maybe we're not for you. I don't know.
Okay.
But you should give it a shot and just no complaining afterwards. And also, by the way, this isn't part of the disclaimer, but definitely check out Small Town Murder Express on Friday nights. That comes out. Shorter Small Town Murder episodes so you can hear those. But I think it's time, Jimmy. Let's clear the lungs. What do you say? And shout, Shut
up and give me murder.
Yes, and I know everybody from your treadmills, from your desks, from your wherever the hell you are, the places people tell us they shout, shut up and give me murder are amazing. I love it so much. I like to scare people in the grocery store. Okay, we love it, so keep telling us where you do that. Let's go on a trip, Jimmy. What do you say?
Okay.
Oh, boy, here we go. We're coming hard, put it that way. Coming from Florida, where we were last week, and that was a gross serial killer, as you remember. This week, we are going for, this is some panhandle stuff here. We're going to Raccoon, Kentucky.
Oh, boy.
There is a town called Raccoon.
Unbelievable.
Now, to explain, the murder itself, it happened kind of in a non-town area. It happened closer to a tiny town called Meta, M-E-T-A, but this place was, there's like nothing, it's like a dollar store and a crossroad. That's all it is. There's nothing there for a town. Okay. So the closest kind of town with anything that you could give statistics or anything on is Raccoon, which butts right up to Meta. And so it's all right there. There's Zebulon is near here. Zebulon, Meta, Raccoon, Coal was there's like a coal run, some shit. We'll get into it. Okay, here we go.
Like a fringe Facebook group town.
Oh, I'm telling you. This is all the way far eastern Kentucky, where Kentucky goes into a little point there into West Virginia, where it's stabbing into West Virginia and Virginia. This is right in that point. Panhandle as it comes. 3.5 hours to Louisville, if you want to go to civilization. About an hour 45 to Charleston, West Virginia. So, oh yeah, this is the hills, man. This is groundhog for breakfast country in this area. About 4 hours to Elizabethtown, Kentucky, which was episode 220, our last Kentucky episode. So, getting back there over a year later, here we are. It's in Pike County, P-I-K-E, area code 606, and motto, not surprising and very simple. Quote, ain't no reason for y'all to be around here. That's, we understand. Keep on driving. That's
I
the
wonder
motto.
who is Pike? It had to be a person, right? Because there was so much shit.
We're going to talk
named
all
after
about
Pike.
him. Absolutely.
Okay.
We'll get into him here. It's at the history of the town. You don't trust me here, Jimmy? Raccoon got its name because, shockingly, there were so many raccoons when they started the town
Weird.
there. So many, they just called the town Raccoon. There's
That's a lot of raccoons.
That's what I mean. Throughout this area, there's raccoons everywhere in the woods. Where there's woods, there's raccoons. So, I mean, imagine the fucking backlog of raccoons, the glut of raccoons. Place was lousy with raccoons everywhere.
The surplus. Has
Surplus.
To be
Not
out of control.
Not sure about the groundhog population for eating, but we'll see. Now, Meta, the place we talked about, this is the only information you can find about Meta anywhere. Meta is located at the junction of Kentucky Route 1426 and Kentucky Route 2169, 7.7 miles northeast of Pikeville. The community had a post office from 1896 to 1959.
Okay.
That's all the info on Meta you're going to get. So... and there's a Family Dollar or a Dollar Tree. One of the two is there now also.
It's a dollar store of some sort.
Some kind. Now, Pike County itself, county was founded in 1821, named after General Zebulon Pike.
That must be who it is.
Yeah, that's him, Zebulon Pike. Now, he's from New Jersey, so there's stuff there, too. That's why there's a town, Zebulon, within Pike County, and there's Pikeville, which is named after him. They just named everything after him. He joined the Army in 1794 and fought on the frontier area. He was an explorer in 1805. He discovered Pike's Peak.
I was just going to say, I bet it's Pike's Peak.
Yeah,
also.
didn't really discover it. People had found it before, but
he said, there it is.
There it is, and they named it after him here. He also explored the headwaters of the Arkansas and the Red Rivers. So he did a lot here. Also, he traced the source of the Mississippi River in 1805.
He has to be the guy who the Pike Market is named after, too, in fucking Seattle.
Yeah, probably. I mean, he was an explorer, so that would make a lot of sense. He probably
Zebulon.
Yeah, he started in 1805, which is right after Lewis and Clark. So he probably followed their trail right up there. I bet. He fought at Tippecanoe in 1811 and during the War of 1812. He was promoted to brigadier general because he was so ballsy. Yeah. And then when the American forces attacked York, Canada, in April of 1813, the British blew up an ammunition dump during the surrender negotiations, and he was killed in the explosion.
Oh, wow.
So all that exploring, all that dicey shit where you could be killed by bears or anything you could be killed by.
Yeah.
Fucking wars, everything. And then during negotiations, he was killed in an ammunition explosion.
It's a munitions dump.
That is wild.
Wow.
In this county between 1860 and 1891, this was one of the main areas of the Hatfield-McCoy feud.
No shit.
Going on here. It's because this is the border. This borders Mingo County, West Virginia. So Mingo County, West Virginia is known as it's called Bloody Mingo. I mean, it's known as a
lawless shit.
This is connected to that. It's all the same hollers. That's, you know what I mean?
It's all gross.
It's all there. Pike is Kentucky's largest county in terms of land area. They were just like all of that shit where no one wants to go because there's banjos through the woods. That's all one county. We don't want anything to do with it.
And name it something dangerous.
Yeah, make
people
bad.
know that if you're not a badass, you can't go through there. Call it Pike.
Pike.
Like that bad man.
So there's a lot of dry counties throughout here and wet counties. If you don't know what that is for in other countries, in the count, it'll break down into counties whether alcohol sales go on or not. Into certain, it's all the South. There's nowhere else but the South, pretty much. I'm sure there's a county or two up north, but it's
and Utah.
It's a religious thing here. So this is classified as a moist county, which is
there's a little bit. You get beer and wine,
which is alcohol sales are prohibited except in there's wet cities. So Pikeville, Elkhorn, and Coal Run Village, there's alcohol sales there. You can package alcohol. No bars or anything, but you can buy like a six-pack and bring it home with you. Now, here's some reviews I found of just a bunch of towns. There's not a lot for Raccoon. So this is for Coal Run Village. They have 2 reviews. One is 5 stars. 5-star pizza is great. So the whole town's wonderful because the pizza place isn't bad.
And is the pizza place called 5 Star?
5 Star. And then there is another one here, 3 stars, 1 sentence, quote, there are some new jobs.
Oh.
So that's good.
And also, 3 Star Burger is terrible.
And 3 Star burger, 3 Star wings aren't as good. So here's some reviews from Pikeville. This is a 2-star review from Pikeville. Quote, Pikeville is a very isolated community in eastern Kentucky. It's a 2.5-hour trip if you want to get to a city. That's no joke. That's where you are, man. Pikeville is the big town. There ain't shit there either. It's really
holy shit. Man.
It is. This is the hills, man.
Middle of nowhere, Kentucky.
Yep. Within the town, there is not much to do. There's a very limited number of stores, so expect to travel or shop online if you're used to living in a larger town.
Shop online.
Yeah, you're isolated out here. And here's 3 stars. I think my hometown is very beautiful and timeless compared to other places I have been. Sadly, the hospital is just taking over the whole town, and it's losing the uniqueness of the town. The hospital?
What?
I've never heard of that damn hospital's encroaching on everybody's shit. The city of Pikeville.
Your town is too small if your hospital's too big.
Yeah, and it's usually a hospital's a business. They don't make more hospital unless you need more hospital. And if you need more hospital, shut the fuck up and go to the hospital. What are we talking about here? What is happening? I never heard anyone complaining that there's too much hospital. Have you?
I want to see how big the hospital is.
It's the whole town. It's this giant building and there's 4 houses around it. The city of Pikeville needs to decide if they want to keep the rustic old like of the town or make it high tech and modern.
Yeah. Whether you want to keep it quaint and nice, or do you want to live in labor and delivery?
What are we doing here? Yeah. You want the ER to dominate this place? No. So, people, this is for Raccoon itself, and this is for Raccoon proper, we'll say, because there is also like a larger area of Raccoon that encompasses Zebulon and Meta, and they lump all their shit in there. So we're going to go with Raccoon proper, 1,774 people here.
Okay, it's small.
More males than females, which is not normal. Median age is 46.3. I feel like the young people would probably flee this area.
Get the fuck out.
There's just to get jobs. I don't know where you're going to get a job. There's 65% married. It's normally 50-50.
That's high.
So yeah, I don't know if it's just, don't feel like getting divorced or what it is, but widow rate's twice what it usually is here too.
They stick around.
Man, the things happen in them hollers, man.
Yeah.
98.7% white, 0.6% Hispanic, 0.09% black.
Wow.
There's not a lot of black people, and that's pretty much it. That's the racial breakdown here.
Sure.
Unemployment here is higher than the rest of the country. It's about almost double. It's 7.5% right now here. Median household income, though, not great. It's about literally exactly half the national average. $27,750 is the median.
That is
household.
Terrifying.
That's
terrifying.
33% live below the poverty level here. A full third live below the poverty level. That's not good.
That's staggering.
And I looked up here. This one site has the breakdown of the education levels here. And by the way, neither of us are like, you got to be educated. I didn't graduate high school. Remember that. So
I am not a scholar.
Not making fun of anybody here, but college degree here. Well, 18% have some college.
Okay.
7% have a bachelor's degree. 4% have a graduate degree. 56% have, quote, some high school. Some.
No.
Not all.
God, no.
7% have, quote, no high school.
None. 7% of people dropped out in 8th grade. Or younger.
No high school.
Wow.
Yeah, some high schools start in 8th grade. So, yeah. 7%.
Holy shit.
That's very high, I would say.
How do they relate to any of those high school movies?
Yeah. We don't watch The Breakfast Club around here. It comes on to TBS, and we just say, turn it to the next channel, buddy, because I ain't even getting into that.
10 things I hate about you. I got 10 that I hate about this movie.
Why? So Let me get this straight. These kids go to school. When do they work in the mines? I don't understand. They go to school. They come home. I see them going to the stores and like talking to each other and eating pizza and stuff. I never see them coming home covered in soot. I don't understand what the hell are these kids doing out there.
Far too clean.
California, yeah.
This clueless shit. They are clueless. They don't know fuck about real life.
Shit about nothing. God damn it. I like them skirts, though, with them little thingies pulled up, the socks pulled up high.
Stockings up real high.
Kind of turned me on, I'll say that much. But that's beside the point I'm making. Median home cost here, $97,000.
Wow.
And if we've convinced you, damn it, you need some area to yourself, I guess. I don't know.
You need some raccoon in your life.
You need a little more raccoon in your life. We have for you the Raccoon, Kentucky Real Estate Report. All right, here we go. I couldn't find rentals. No one's renting anything in Raccoon. It's something that your like pappy had from your grandpappy, and you live there. Yeah. I don't know what's going on. I found a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, 936 square feet. It's a shack. It's just a shack. Roll your chair over because I got to show you a couple of pictures here. Check this out. Okay, it belongs on like an old Mountain Dew ad. Look at this place.
What the fuck?
It's a shack.
It's a shack on cinder blocks.
It should have just
on a nice foundation of cinder blocks, but still it's cinder blocks.
Should have a hillbilly with a musket shooting off the edge of that porch.
There's a void underneath that.
Oh, absolutely.
You
It's
know what
empty.
I mean? There's
Hollow.
just a big...
It's holler, Jimmy. $29,000 for this house.
Wow.
2-bedroom, 1-bath. Next up, we have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's on about an acre. It's about 1,400 square feet. Let's take a look at this.
Not bad. Look
Not
at that.
bad. It's on a
double patios, James.
It doesn't even have a driveway.
Decker.
This house does not have an address, by the way.
No, of course it doesn't. It's side of whatever hill that is.
It's on a fucking hill on the side, like people built a house to like escape from federal authorities after they butchered their whole family in the city. That's what you would
I'm
put
impressed that they got that house level.
I don't know how they did that.
The grade is not level.
No, it's on an acre. I don't even know if it's property or it's just, it's all kind of yours. $119,000 for this.
That's too much.
For this moonshining shack. And then I found a 4-bedroom, 3-bath. It's 3,000 square feet.
It's a big one.
It's a big house, big kind of raised ranch type of thing. It's got a nice garage, a lot of room inside. Needs some work inside. There's some areas where the walls are a little fucked up and stuff, but not terrible. You could do it. Okay. $163,000 for that. It's a big house.
How do you do that though? On fucking
$26,000 a
sub
year,
$30,000. Yeah. How do you do it?
I don't know, man.
That's 5 years of salary and more.
That's a lot, dude. That's too much. You're not going to do that.
You can't do it.
Things to do. What I've been waiting for here. This is the important part. Things to do. First of all, if you want to go to the big city in Pikeville, you go to the Appalachian Wireless Arena, and you can see the Poison World Tour coming this summer. So there's that.
That's where Bret Michaels is now.
That's where he is. The Appalachian Wireless Theater. Not good.
Bret.
But never mind that shit, because we have Hillbilly Days.
Stop it.
Hillbilly Days. It is absolutely a thing. Quote, this is from their website. Quote, y'all be sure to come and enjoy one of the state's largest festivals. Since 1977, Pike County, Kentucky's been celebrating Hillbilly Days. This internationally known annual event serves as a fundraiser to benefit the Shriners Children's Hospital. Well, that's nice. They do great work in Lexington, Kentucky. This festival's one you got to see to believe. 3 live stages of free entertainment featuring a wide variety of music genres. I don't think it's that wide, probably.
I'm sure it's blues and bluegrass.
Clogging and square dancing. Men, women, and youngsters pick and grin while trying to outdo each other with their wild hillbilly outfits. And people put like black things over their teeth. It's one of these. Come join us.
Is it Hillbilly Days, DAZE?
No. It's Hillbilly Days, regular
All
days.
Right.
Come join us. Stay the weekend in one of our great hotels, from the Hampton Inn and Holiday Inn to motels and economy lodging. That's not the economy lodging. The Holiday Inn is the fucking top-end hotel you have. Where's Bret Michaels stay?
From the Hampton.
From the Hampton Inn all the way down to the shit ones. You get a wide range of accommodations. Will fit into almost any vacation budget, I bet. Bring the children, grandchildren, friends, and neighbors. They'll have a ball. Who goes to places with their neighbors? So, this is, you can plan a few extra days to see the, what is this? The Pikeville Cut-Through Project. I don't know.
Whatever that is.
Hatfield-McCoy feud sites. This is where them fellers argued right over there one time.
He called his wife a cuss. Right there.
I heard it. And go to the cemetery where Randolph McCoy is buried. Also, they have that. And finally, there's concerts there.
Yeah.
And they announced the featured concert for 2022. Jimmy, do you know what it is?
Boy.
You are not going to fucking believe what it is.
Is it a name?
It's Dustin Lynch, Jimmy. It's the guy. How the fuck did this happen? This came up 3 weeks ago. I'd never heard of this band before.
That was the murderer.
The murderer's name was Dustin
douche
Lynch.
Country act.
And it's a guy. And the guy. I even looked him up. He has a song called "Small Town Boy." I swear to God.
It's meant to be.
Dustin
Lynch would love us.
He would have to, because we're the only people talking about him who have, outside of the hollers, I guess. I don't know. So anyway, yeah. So
that's amazing.
I have the whole, it's amazing. I have the whole
Let's see this.
schedule here.
Yeah.
There's a puppet show, a mini children's parade, live music, opening ceremony, hillbilly degree work. I don't know what the fuck that is. Dustin Lynch party mode tour. Oh boy.
He's playing Raccoon, Kentucky.
Oh my God. There's a hillbilly breakfast.
Of course there is.
Hillbilly pageant. Oh my God. There's a hillbilly pageant. Oh,
that's the only one that I approve of so far.
My God. Hillbilly car show.
Yeah.
Hillbilly Days Carnival. Stump speaking. I don't know if they think the trees are talking or if someone's actually talking, having a speech, like a stump speech.
Yeah.
like a political stump speech. The origin and truth of the hillbilly image is one of their presentations.
Oh, boy.
Hillbilly parade. You can't have a fucking festival without a parade. Why would you want to? Obviously. And then the Mountain Girl, GRRL, experience kickoff.
What is that?
I guess if you're a hillbilly girl, that's for you.
She's gonna growl at something?
Such other acts as Alex Blankenship, Bill Dotson, the Midnight Gypsies, Donovan Blevins and the Hillbilly Drive Band. Eddie,
these are all locals.
Oh yeah, Eddie Jenkins and the 606 Sound. That's the area code for Meta is 606 and Raccoon, mind you. The Kudzu Killers.
Oh boy.
Them Dirty Vandals. And Beck, B-E-K, not that Beck, and the Starlight Review. No, that's what's happening here. That's what we're doing in this town.
All of that shit is opening for Dustin Lynch.
Dustin Lynch, who, good God, this is I couldn't, when I saw he was here, my eyes almost fucking popped out of my head. I'm like, oh my God, what is happening? How is this possible?
We can't get away from this asshole.
Can't get away from Dustin Lynch. He's following us. Hey, Dustin Lynch, leave us the fuck alone, man.
Get back to your hillbilly world tour.
He's like, well, I'm performing at the Hillbilly Days in Raccoon.
Hampton.
It's the nicest hotel around, which it's fine, but yeah, it's not. It's when you say like we have luxury accommodations all the way down to economy, and then you go everything from the Hampton Inn on down. You go, huh? It's not luxury. I mean, it's fine. I'll stay at a Hampton Inn, no problem. But if I'm Dustin Lynch, I'm not staying at the Hampton. So, anyway, crime rate in this town, what we're obviously interested in, is pretty low. I don't know if it's just not reported because it's happening out there in them hollers or what the fuck's going on, but property crime is about half the national average for property, and then violent
out amongst themselves.
We'll figure it out up here in the hills. If you don't even have an address, I feel like you don't call the cops very often. I need a police officer. What's the address? I don't know.
I got it. I'll handle it. Never mind.
The side of that one hill. Fuck it. I got it. Click. Violent crime, murder, rape, robbery, and assault, the Mount Rushmore of crime, is it's like a third of the average. So, again, extremely
Maybe it
low.
is safe. Maybe it's nice.
I think it might because there's nothing here. There's nobody here. Like, I don't know
There's
who
nothing
you
to take.
who do you have beef with? If you're like,
Right.
you can go outside and scream and ain't nobody gonna hear you. So I don't get who you're going to fucking have problems with here. Makes no sense. So, and I think there's probably murders that just people disappear in the hills and nobody knows. I don't know.
It's like Cleveland. They just assume they went to somewhere better.
That's it. There's a lot of like these abandoned mine shafts where people would dump. I mean, the Iceman used to dump them in all these abandoned mine shafts. They haven't even found all these people yet. I mean, there's so many of these abandoned shafts that people just throw fucking people down because they're 1,000
You said
feet
hundreds,
deep.
and they were like, we haven't found that many. Uh-oh.
Might be more. So that said, let us talk about a murder.
Oh, boy, I can't wait.
Yes, and we're going to go, let's get in the time machine, Jimmy. Because
We're going to go back further?
we're going to go back further. We're going to go back to what Hillbilly Days is modeling themselves on, okay? This is a place with a festival called Hillbilly Days, and we're like, nope, not quite rural enough yet. Let's go back in time 50 years. What do you say?
We need to go before Dustin Lynch was born.
Oh, it is, too. We're going back to 1971 in the small town murder crime machine. I called it the crime machine.
It's the crime machine.
The crime machine. That's a time machine where we go back for murders. The small town murder crime machine, everyone. Hop in. Hop in.
Your mistake is perfect.
All aboard the murder train on Fridays and all aboard
Small town murder crime machine.
so the small town murder crime machine, everyone. Let's get it on. So here we go. 1971 is where we'll catch up, and we'll go backwards and forwards from there. So let's talk about a man in this area who owns a lot of land in this area.
No kidding.
He's an important man. Boone Deskins.
Of course it's Boone.
Boone is his name. Boone.
His first name.
That's his first name. Boone. Bonne. Deskins. Deskins.
Bonne?
Boone. Sorry.
Okay. I was like, James, that is Bone. That is French.
Bon Deskins. Yes, he's a very French man. No. He is Boone.
French-ass hillbilly.
Not Bon. Well, they named fucking shit in Missouri. We had Bon Terre, Missouri, which that's... So Boone in 1971 is 67 years old.
Shit.
Yeah, he's an old hillbilly, and he's from this
Old-timer.
area.
Yeah.
And I found a court document of he had a hell of a court battle over land with these people.
Really?
There was this guy named Jasper Mullins, all right?
Oh, of course.
I'll just give you a quick, I don't even have it in front of me. This is just what I remember from reading it. There's a feller named Jasper Mullins. Now, Jasper
Was the court documents, was it Boone v. Jasper?
It was Jasper v. that other feller is what it was. So there's a feller named Jasper Mullins. Now, Jasper Mullins done went and dropped dead on us now.
Oh.
So he dropped dead in a bunch of land that apparently Jasper Mullins had gotten the land because in 1925, some old hillbilly who owned all this land told him that he could stay there until he dies. So the old hillbilly died first, though, and then Jasper ended up with the land, and then there was a claim on it from Boone Deskins, who was part of the... It was like 4 people fighting over like 350 acres of moonshine country.
Yeah,
is what it is.
While Jasper screams in court, he said, "Till I die."
No, Jasper
you
died.
Can see me. Oh, wait, Jasper died.
That's why they're fighting over it, because Jasper.
Boone
that's how
so
Jasper
Boone wants it.
Well, that's how Jasper got it. Was some old hillbilly told him because y'all could stay here till you die. Now Jasper's got it, so that's a notarized document in the hills.
Yeah, because he screamed.
Y'all could. I told him Jasper can stay here till he dies. There you go. It's notarized now. It's notarized. So, hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about the safest sponsor ever, Simply Safe. Absolutely. These people will keep you safe. It's amazing. You know that every 26 seconds a burglary takes place in the United States, according to the FBI. That means that by the time this podcast is over, dozens and dozens of homes will have been targeted, ransacked. God knows what happens here. So protect your home before it's too late with Simply Safe proactive security system. Simply Safe helps stop threats before they even have a chance to break in. Named Best Home Security System by U.S. News and World Report 5 years in a row. and by us for about the last 8 years as well. If you trust us, believe me, you want Simply Safe. So visit simplysafe.com/small to claim 50% off a new system with professional monitoring plan and your first month free. That's simplysafe.com/small. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Now back to the show.
This show, Small Town Murder, is brought to you by BetterHelp. Get yourself some therapy, everybody. Honestly, here. We often hear about, red flags that you should avoid. Hey, that's a lot of a thing. It's become a real phrase now, real cliche. Yeah. But why don't you focus also, you look at like green flags in friends and partners. Look for good things as well. Right. And maybe you're not sure what that looks like, though. Therapy can help you figure that out. What are positive things? What are the green flags? And then you can practice them in your relationship. It's absolutely a fact. And so, honestly, we absolutely are huge advocates for this. It really, really helps. BetterHelp is fully online, making therapy affordable. It's convenient. They serve over 5 million people worldwide. You can access a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists, wide ranges of specialties there. Here's the coolest part. You're not getting along with your therapist, you're just not feeling it, you can switch at any time, no extra charge.
Wow.
The thing is, they want you to get help. That's it. And you can do it with BetterHelp. Discover your relationship green flags with BetterHelp. Visit BetterHelp.com/smalltownmurder today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
That's what ended up happening. So I guess at some point, Jasper had willed, non-formally willed this land to multiple parties. So they were all
drunk and said, you could have my land.
You can have my land, or you can have part of my land, because somebody said that they were owed 110 acres of the 350 acres. So there was like a beef over, I get a chunk of it and then you get some. So there's a lot of beef going on. But in the end, Boone Deskins ends up with most of this land.
Okay.
Now, Boone has a logging company, I guess you could call it, also, because he was being sued by the whole thing with the land was the other two land people that Jasper told y'all could stay here.
Yeah.
They said that Boone was logging on the land, and they were like, he's taking our trees. Yeah. So that's what happened. Boone owned a sawmill for years and years. So, I mean, he's got a mill, for Christ's sake.
Yeah,
he's a mill owner.
Going on. Yeah, it's happening.
Shitload of land, good amount of money, sawmill, logs, court battles. He's also a bootlegger, as we'll talk about. Because this is dry country. So he's also a moonshiner and a bootlegger.
I love it.
So this is your old-time fucking hillbilly. This is who they made the festival about. I mean, he's got one strap on his overalls. It's because the other strap broke. That's why, not for fashion, So Boone's an interesting hillbilly sort here.
Fascinating fella. Yeah.
He is a fascinating feller. And he's married. Of course, you can't do all this alone. You can't own a sawmill and bootleg alone. You have to be...
And if you do, you only do it for a little while, because that's impressing, folks.
You got to have a little lady back at the homestead here, and he does. He has his little lady. By the way, in 1971, Boone's 67, and his wife Gladys Deskins is 60, so she's a little younger than him.
He's doing great.
Yeah, they've been married since about 1930. Around there, they got 1930, 1931. So about 40 years of marriage here.
Son of a bitch.
Boone and Gladys. That's what I mean. I don't know if divorce happened back then up in the hills. I think it was easier just to, I'll move into the still and you stay in the house, and that's how it's going to work.
Good for him for sticking it out so long, waiting on her, and then she turns 20 and he's like, that's my girl.
That's my girl right there. Now, 1953, I found a really funny thing that just kind of shows you the wildness that's going on around here.
Yeah.
They're sued in 1953. This guy is...
Deskin?
Yeah, Deskin. So many lawsuits throughout time I found with this guy. I had to parse through them and be like, that one's not important. This one here, he is sued by a husband and wife who were injured in a collision with their truck. Now, they weren't driving their truck, though. Boone wasn't in the truck, and neither was Gladys. They weren't even in the truck, but it was his truck driven by a 15-year-old kid named Paul Smith.
Okay.
So, it's a really weird thing. Smith, who's 15, was driving the truck within the scope of employment for So he hired a 15-year-old to do at a sawmill, mind you.
Right.
To do
take these logs down the road.
Hard sawmill labor, and he's not a licensed driver. He's 15, and then he lent this 15-year-old his truck, and then the 15-year-old crashed into somebody. So at this point, you go, this is kind of making sense that they would sue him for this. At first, I'm like, what the fuck are they suing him for?
That's some Kentucky shit, though.
This is some Kentucky. Yeah, you wouldn't let us, I don't know, send the kid out to get the shit. Like, what?
Throw him my keys. I'm too drunk.
Who doesn't have a license? You, get in the car. Let's go. You're driving. You got to learn sometime, you know what I mean? Yeah. So this accident occurred 6 o'clock on a Sunday evening in November of 1950, where the couple who were bashed into here, they depended on the testimony, by the way, of Paul Smith, the driver, because he's not being sued. It's the Boone's being sued. So Paul's testifying for the couple he crashed into.
Paul doesn't give a shit.
He don't care. Smith was quote about 15 years old, so who knows? Roundabout. He worked as a laborer as 15-year-olds. Should all be sawmill laborers. Everybody out there with a 15-year-old, how good of a sawmill laborer do you think that kid would be right now if you just threw him in the middle of that? My son's 15. He'd be the worst sawmill laborer in the history of sawmills. We'd have no wood ever.
But my 13-year-old would try really hard and then tell you that everything's perfect. He's an arrogant little fuck.
Would he do a good job at the sawmill?
No. Jesus, God, no. But he would tell you it's the best job you've ever seen.
What's wrong with this? These are the best logs ever.
No, son, you do it like this. I did. No, you didn't.
No, you
That's
didn't
why
even
I'm
cut
telling
them.
you.
See,
you fuck.
They're not even cut. They're just still huge logs. We got to send them back through the machine now.
Put them on like this. I did that. Now cut it. I did that. Why are they still together?
Why? Did you crazy glue them? What the fuck did you do to them?
Everything is. I did. No, you didn't. You're 13. I'll smack you.
My son be like, "There's a lot of sawdust in here. I don't want to be in here.
It's
like,
too dirty."
Yeah, it's a fucking sawmill. That's what it is. It's all dirt. It's in my nose. Yeah, that's what happens. Yeah. So he's about 15. He also lived in the Deskins' house. So they had like a live-in indentured teenage servant who he was. I don't know if his parents died in a moonshine still explosion or what the fuck happened. Why
does he need them?
How in the 50s this 15-year-old was willed to them to the point of, working and laboring for them and driving, which he's not qualified to do. He worked as a laborer in the sawmill, lived in the home. He was paid $5 a day plus board. So you can stay in our house. We'll give you $5 a day. So he has to work in the sawmill, and he is paid $5 a day, that is the equivalent of $59.98 in 2022. So that's like $60 a day, which is what, fucking $300 a week?
$300 a week, $1,200 a month.
Yeah, so about $12,000 a year.
$12,000 a year.
So $12,000 a year plus board. Yeah. So I mean, he's 15 also, so this is kind of
rent.
Weird.
That's nice.
Yeah, strange child labor. I'd love to know how long this arrangement's been going on for. Since he was 9 or something. So on the day of the accident here, Paul, the kid, he volunteered to help Boone load some corn into the truck.
Yeah,
got to load up the corn. So he said that they came in the truck to the sawmill for the purpose of changing the oil in the truck. While they were there, the boy's mother drove up. Why is he living with them then? If he has a mother,
why is mom there?
What is happening? He has a mother, yet he lives with the sawmill owner. What the fuck is going on?
He's all grown up, James.
He all grown up. Yeah, remember no high school. Remember that? Yeah. So he drove up. It was raining, so Boone and Paul got into the car with Paul's mom. And Boone then said that he had to go down to the store at Zebulon, which was about a mile away, to get some lamp oil.
Oh.
Lamp oil, Jimmy.
That's where we're at.
Wow. Okay. 1950, not 1850. Right. Paul, I feel like the guy, what is his name? Zebulon Pike would have been like, I did that for this? You named this after me?
All that for Lamp Oil Town?
Fuck, my God. Paul asked that he let me go get it, Paul said. I'll go grab it. I'll go pick up your lamp oil. And so Boone said, here you go, tossed him the key to the truck. And there he goes. Paul takes off. So the lamp oil it wasn't for lighting. It was kerosene is what they wanted. Yeah. Kerosene to be used in flushing out the motor before putting in the motor oil.
Is that what you're supposed to do?
I have never heard of this as a technique, but I'm not a mechanic. I don't know if in the 50s with farm equipment, sawmill trucks, I have
How clean do you need the motor to be before you lube it?
I've never heard of that before, but apparently that's go down to the Jiffy Lube and ask them, so you're going to run kerosene in it between that and see the look on the guy's face if he understands what you're talking about.
But if the kerosene breaks down the oil and gets it out, there's still going to be some kerosene in there when you pour new oil in. Doesn't that fuck that oil up?
Then what about the kerosene? It's like, yes, there's a mouse, so I'll get a cat. But then what about when the cat runs amok? Then I get a dog, and then what do I get? A gorilla and a fucking ape, and I got to go up the line now until I have an elephant running around, and then the mouse scares the elephant, and we start all over again. That's the problem.
I don't know why she swallowed the fly. Perhaps she'll die.
That's right. It's a problem for everybody. So he went down to Zebulon there to get the kerosene. The only place around with kerosene's up in Zebulon.
Yeah.
And he had it charged to Deskins. It just got charged to his account there.
Sure.
So the guy at the store didn't remember. So there's no corroboration that he actually got the kerosene and went to the store. That's the other thing. Like, we don't even know if he ever went there or not. He just said he went there, Paul. Because he returned to the sawmill, but along the way, he picked up 3 other boys.
What?
3 friends of his. So we don't know if he actually got the kerosene or if he just took the truck on the ruse of getting kerosene and then picked up his friends. That could have happened.
Or if he went to go get kerosene, but as, young adolescent teen boys do, they lose track. Oh, look, there goes Tom. Tom, you want to go riding with me? I got to go get kerosene. Yeah, sure, I'll jump in. Hey, look, there's Fred. Hey, Tom, Fred, y'all want to... fuck it. Let's just go riding. And then we'll get Billy, too. We'll all just go riding.
They just went back to the sawmill, though. They didn't even go riding. That's the thing.
I forgot what I was out here for.
No
Let's hit that 5-star pizza and head on back to the mill.
Oh, let's do it. We're going on back to the mill. That 5-star here is delicious. And then, of course, Dustin Lynch is playing. So if we can just listen to the soft sounds of Dustin Lynch from outside the fence.
We saw a small-town boy performed, and we just lost track of time. We forgot what we were getting.
I feel like this is why you don't give 15-year-olds driver's licenses, because they can't focus on even getting from A to B. So he picks them up. Neither Boone nor Paul's mother were anywhere around the mill when he gets back. Okay. No one's around. So he hangs out for about a half hour, and then he got back in the truck and started going to Boone's house, where he lived as well. He's going home.
Going home, right.
So he said that it was not for the purpose of taking kerosene there, but it was because, quote, I wanted to go wash and clean up, because, quote, I was going to town later that night.
Yeah, you got to get my wash on.
You got to get washed up to go to town. So he's going to town, boy. It's a big night for him. So on the way there, he gets into a collision. The house is about 8 miles from the sawmill. He bashes into some couple and fucks them up. He also said he'd previously driven this truck 7 or 8 times while at work. So he's done this a lot. He had never driven it or any other car of his going to the house, he said. He couldn't do that. So he said that the week of the accident, he said he took the truck. He made an affidavit, the kid, when it happened.
Yeah.
That was prepared by Boone's attorney.
Yeah.
That said, Boone didn't know he had the truck. He basically stole the truck from work and went on a wild joyride and had nothing to do with Boone. You know what I mean?
Okay.
One of those. So
absolve Boone of all responsibility.
Absolutely. He even said this was the only. He's never been given permission ever to drive any of his vehicles ever before, and not this time either. So the boy though got on the stand and then he said that no, I've driven it 7 or 8 times. He sent me for kerosene. One of those deals. So he said that he was going to run the errand. It was a Sunday, so he was off that day, but he was happy to run the errand and all this type of shit. So anyway, they do find that the key was in the ignition of the truck, that basically that it's not Boone's fault because the boy could have taken the truck without his knowledge, even though even though Paul and his mother say that Boone gave him the key. So there you go. So Boone gets out of that, all right?
Okay, yeah.
This is the type of shit we're dealing with, though. They have strange children living in their fucking house who, work in their sawmill for small amounts of money. It's very strange.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. So, April 4th and 5th, 1970. Let's fast forward some. Boone gets arrested. All right.
Yeah.
He's arrested for having a $25,000 truckload of liquor that he was transporting without a license to do so.
$25,000.
So $5 is worth $60. Do the math with $25,000 from 1970. So it would be less. But
six.
It would be less because it's 70. So whatever. It's a lot of fucking money.
It's $100,000.
It's more than that from 70. Yeah. It's a lot. Right. So either way, it's a lot of goddamn money. So he's charged with that. Now, what ends up happening too is some fucking, what was it? The Bottle Shop Inc. at 115 New Circle Road is also charged with selling large quantities of beverages to Boone Deskins. So he would buy this booze wholesale and then come and sell it to people in the hills where it's dry. That's what he would do. That's his game.
Smart.
It looks like.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's a bootlegger. That's how it works. So they end up getting in trouble, the people who sold it to him.
Really?
So then in April of 1971, Boone is there. He purchased a shitload of, what is this now? Oh, my God. Oh, this is another time he got arrested. My bad. He gets arrested in 1971 for stealing a tractor, which is only in Raccoon, Kentucky do we have a tractor theft here. He I guess this was April 16th, 1971 this happened. He was in Fleming County inquiring of a man named Stanley Spencer about the purchase of some cattle. And then while he's talking about some cattle, the guy brought up, well, I have this 1970 Ford Tractor 3000 series right here that I'm trying to get rid of as well. Boone said, well, I'm in the market for a good tractor. And after some negotiations, he purchased the tractor and transported it to Pike County. Boone says that he paid $2,400 for the tractor in cash.
Yeah.
And the tractor was taken from a farm in Fleming County to a barn located on the farm of one of his neighbors in Pike County, where it was there for about 6 months. Now, detective here of the Kentucky State Police traveled to Pike County and inquired of him if he had bought the Ford tractor fitting this description. And this policeman said that when he inquired about the tractor, this guy, Boone, said, nope, I never purchased a tractor and I don't know nothing about no tractor like that. He
Boone
said, not only did I not buy a tractor, I never even heard of a tractor like that. No clue. What's a tractor? I don't know what you mean.
Ford makes tractors? Shit.
Oh, shit. Maybe I'll try them out next time I'm in the market. So, yeah. After the police officer left his home, he ended up fucking loading the tractor back up and taking it back to where he got it from.
Okay.
So his nephew, Gerstl Deskins.
What?
Gerstl. Gerstl. I've never heard that as a first name before. Gerstl Deskins.
That's a bad name.
Fuck. He's the guy who drove the truck that returned the tractor, and Boone went along with him in a car and helped him unload the tractor. Now, during the process of unloading the tractor, he and his nephew were arrested with knowingly receiving a stolen tractor.
Yeah.
Like caught red-handed, like taking the tractor off, saying, I don't know nothing about tractors. Meanwhile,
that tractor.
They're bringing the tractor back. Plus, who did they think? He's the guy who took it. If he brought it back, we know where it came from all of a sudden. Like, what are you talking about? It's a big coincidence.
The case is solved, sir.
Oh, man. So the arresting officer said that when he made the arrest, Boone told the arresting officer that his nephew doesn't know nothing about the tractor. I just asked him to drive this for me, so, let him out of this. So the sheriff of Fleming County, of course, was present at the time. Because it's a big tractor bust, we got to get the head cop in on this one. When there's a big tractor bust, Jimmy, you got to call in everybody. The FBI couldn't make it this day was the difference.
Chief, wake up.
Chief.
We got a tractor bust.
He's the sheriff of the whole county, by the way. This is the most important thing that's going on in the county. So
county sheriff shows up to a tractor returning.
A tractor fucking returning. That's so weird too. Like he's returning his stolen property. At the time, the nephew, he doesn't want any part in this. He's got he's got a career, so he doesn't want it. He's a tugboat operator. He's doing that. I'm not even kidding. He's a
tugboat operator in landlocked Kentucky.
In Virginia. He's just there hanging out. So yeah, he lives in Virginia. So
one of these days, there's going to be water here, and I'm going to be the tugboat captain of all of them. of the
Now,
fleet.
Prior to the trial, a year later, his nephew died. We don't know how. Who knows? Fell off a tugboat. We have no fucking idea how he died.
In a tugboat on land.
I assume some sort of groundhog for breakfast accident. I don't know what's
Choked
going on
on
anymore.
groundhog as he drove his tugboat down the freeway.
He grabbed his throat and then fell off the front of the tugboat and drowned. Is that what happened there? We don't know if the choking or the drowning got him first, but something. Now,
Fell off his tugboat in the yard.
Oh, my God. So during the trial, Boone claimed that he purchased the tractor for his nephew. I bought it for my dead nephew. You got to involve the nephew as much as possible now because he's dead. So what difference does it make? At first he said, nephew, he's just driving this truck. Don't have shit to do with it. So now he does.
You can't refute this story.
He claimed that his nephew was about to quit river work. Quote, river work, that's tugboat operating, in about a year and was going to come and instead sort of, half retire, half work on the farm. That was what he was going to do. So instead, he bought him a tractor for this purpose that apparently...
Half work, half retire, but whole died.
all the way died, I'll tell you what. So this is absolutely ridiculous. So anyway, he ends up, they say that's a ridiculous story. Yeah. Guilty, you fucking moron. And they sentence him, as we'll talk about later on. We'll get into that later. But anyway, during this time that all this is going on, Boone and Gladys have been going through a divorce proceeding.
Oh, it's over.
Yeah, from 71. It's been about 5 years they've been going through a divorce.
Jesus.
Since the mid-60s. Wow.
He seems easy to get along with.
Oh, my God. So they have acquired a shitload of property.
Yeah,
based on
part with any of it.
Based on they've been married since 1930. Yeah. So I mean, this has all happened over the course of their marriage. He's acquired all this property, these businesses, and everything like that. And the divorce is the only reason it's not final is because they could not come to an agreement. For 5 years, they've been negotiating distribution of property.
Right. And he doesn't want to give up any of it. She wants just a little bit.
Basically, he said, "I ain't giving her any."
Yeah.
And she said, "But I want some." And then they've been going on for 5 years like that. That's how they've been going. Well, she ain't getting none. Well, I deserve some. Well, she goes back and forth for 5 years.
Well, you can't have none. Just a little bit.
But I'm getting some.
What about
I earned it. I have a right to that land. Well, I say you don't. That's
I put up with you for 40 years. I put up with you for 40 years.
So while this is going on, while they're fighting over their property, Boone is living in a trailer in Zebulon.
Wow.
Okay, till this all works out. The house is involved in this whole mess, their family home, okay? Gladys is living in a little tiny fucking weird like backwoods house on the Johns Creek, which is right down the river, right down the creek from the elementary school there. I don't know what school, the John School or St. John's School, whatever the fuck it is. So from what I can tell, the house doesn't even have like a driveway or anything. It's like Pirates of the Caribbean, like on the ride when you're going through and there's just that guy rocking and he says, you're like, well, how does he get out of that house? He doesn't. That's what's going on. It's just a house on the creek.
It's in the water.
No, it's off. It's not on stilts in the water. Like it's not a bayou house, but it's like that where it's just a house on the creek. Like, what the fuck is that? How do you get there? You have to walk there? How do you drive to this place? I don't understand this. So that's the status of what's going on here in 1971. It
is uncomfortable.
Uncomfortable. She's living in a drivewayless river shack, and he lives in a trailer while he's being busted for stealing tractors. This is what's going on. And moonshining, by the way.
Yeah.
So all of this in the mix, and he's got the land thing with his wife. So July of 1971, he's like, I need to get me some help. I got a lot of things to do.
Yeah.
Got a lot to sort out is what it is. So he finds a young feller here who at the time is 24 years old named Willard Christian.
All right.
But he doesn't go by Willard, of course. They call him Woody.
Yeah,
so
everybody's got two last names for first names.
All of them. Yeah. Willard Christian. He is and he goes by Woody. So there's Woody with his double last names like Boone Deskins.
Yeah.
So Woody here, he says that Boone first approached him in early summer 71. he said, here's what I need you to do now, all right? Check it out, Woody. He said, I need you. There's a house near where my wife is living now on the creek. There's another, house nearby. I need you to burn that shit to the ground.
Burn the house down the creek.
Down the creek, yeah. He's going to burn it to the ground, all right? Okay. Now, burn that house. So, okay. So, Woody said that he went to Boone's trailer where Boone, quote, asked him how I would feel about burning a house. Yeah. And I told him I would do it. Well, shit, yeah, why not? Let's get it. I'll burn a house. The hell I care. So he said after that, Boone told him that, quote, after you do that, I've got another job for you with more money.
Okay.
Now, burning a house down seems like a pretty big felony to commit. What could be a bigger job than that for more money than burning a house? That seems like probably, there's
only one step higher usually.
That's what I mean. Right there, I'd be like, wait a second. Is it burning a bigger house down for more money? Is that what you're talking about? Because
yeah.
I'm okay with the burning part. So he said that him and a guy named Robert Sykes, who we'll talk about, and another guy who he picked up along the way, one of his hillbilly friends here.
Sure.
They all burned the house down the next day, okay? Went there, burned it down, and sure enough, true to his word, Deskins, by the way, Boone strikes me as a liar, so I wouldn't, right? Doesn't he strike you as
the most honest man?
Yeah, he strikes me as like if he said something's 500, you're going to come back and he's like going to be like, I got 275. You fucking asshole.
I might have a couple nickels in my pocket. Sit down.
See.
Hold on.
You didn't do the whole job anyway. The barn's still standing.
I could get you closer. Hold on.
So. True to his word, Deskins paid him $1,000 for burning the house down. That's good money in 1971 here. Not bad. And he said that Boone told Woody to come over in 2 or 3 nights. By the way, pick one. Which one?
Yeah.
2 or 3. And that he had another job for him. So not asking any further questions, Woody says, sounds good, buddy, and walked away.
Okay.
Now, at this point, he said a few days later, he went back to the trailer and he said, now I'll need you this time to kill somebody. Can you do that? All right. That's different now, obviously.
Yeah.
Now, Christian, Woody, he says that he's a squeamish guy when it comes to that. Burning a house down's easy. Anybody can start a fire, but to kill a man, that's another thing.
That murder and shit. It's weird.
He called it, quote, now that's a horse of another color, is what he said.
Okay.
That's the vernacular he used, a horse of another color out there. I'm not sure about that.
He's using Wizard of Oz phrases.
Yep. A horse of another color. So, that's actually like a farm phrase that Wizard of Oz used because supposedly they're on a farm.
Because it was a farmy thing.
Yeah, it's a farmy thing. Wizard of Oz, it's farmy. I believe that was the tagline in 1939 when it came out. Come see the Wizard of Oz. Half color, half black and white. Farmy.
It's very farmy.
It's farmy. So he went to the trailer, and this is the words he put it in, Woody. He said, quote, and he asked me if I would kill someone, and I told him no, that I wouldn't kill someone myself. And he told me that I should know somebody, that I should know someone that I would. And I told him that I would check around and see.
You should know somebody.
You should
I should know somebody.
Yeah.
I should have a pocket knife. I should have my gun with me all the time. I should have a good recipe for squirrel. I should know somebody that murders.
You should have a couple friends that are up for a murder for hire, right? Don't everybody?
Right. Yeah.
Who doesn't have a couple friends? When you get a
toolbox, when you buy a toolbox, people say you should have your crescent wrench. You should have some screwdrivers. When you have a tackle box, you should have some chartreuse.
Hey, it helps for them bass. They like it. So he said, I'll check around and see. I'll ask around for you. No problem.
See if I have that in my toolbox.
I'm not sure. He said, quote, he told me he would pay $7,000 for the death of his wife.
Oh.
For killing his wife because she was giving him a lot of trouble and wouldn't give him a divorce.
Yeah.
So he then, after a minute, he decides that this horse's color is just fine with him. He says that, but he has to recruit a crew here, and he does. And boy, does he ever recruit a crack fucking crew of murdering posse here. Yeah. If you're going to recruit a murder posse, really think it over. Go down your list of friends. Don't just go the first two that say, sure, I'll do it. Go down and choose who you think would be best for this particular assignment, because not good here. First guy he picks out is William Eugene Thompson. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he goes by Eugene Thompson. They call him Gene. So Gene Thompson, he is born in 1949, so he's about 22.
Yeah,
same age range as Woody there.
Yeah.
So William here, Eugene Thompson, he has got all sorts of prison records in his young life of 21 years, 22 years. 1971, he did early 71, he finished up a stretch at the Federal Corrections Institution in Oxford, Wisconsin for federal place for the violation of the National Firearms Act. Oh. And according to the some guy from the Kentucky correctional some shit, he also spent at least 2 years at another federal penitentiary. He's 22. Wow. So far, we've got 3 years of federal time he's been doing in El Reno, Oklahoma. He's done time there, too. So he's already a hardened, convicted felon at age fucking 22. Which is
Oklahoma back then, they loved killing people. He's lucky to be alive for no matter what what law he broke down there.
I heard you looked wrong at a horse, I heard. We're going to put you on
String
trial.
him up.
Put him on trial now. And he also picks out an auto mechanic named Robert David Sykes as well, Sykes. He is born in 1934, so he's an older guy. He's in his 30s here. Right. In his mid-30s, and some 22-year-old scrubby felon comes up to you and goes, you want to be in on a murder? And this guy goes, all right, sounds good.
Yeah.
So that's what goes on. So the night of July 11th, 1971 is when this plot is supposed to go down here. Robert Sykes is the driver. He's the auto mechanic, obviously. He's the driver. Yeah. So they put together a real Ocean's 11 team here. We need somebody who's good with cars. You know, he's got to be the driver, and in case it breaks down, he's going to have to fix it. So,
and we need a legit hardened criminal. This is hardened criminal shit we're doing.
So they got a driver and a hardened criminal. So that's perfect.
Driver and Fed time.
Fed time. And a guy named Woody. That's who we have. That's our murder crew. That's our murder crew. This is just terrific. Are you seeing a movie unfolding with this silliness of just these silly characters? And I feel like, Casey Affleck is one of these people probably. Seems to always play a goofy guy, and it's ridiculous. So he's the mechanic.
They're recasting Jimmy Cahn's boy. He's got to be on this.
That's it. Yeah.
There's not a lot of work for him.
They canceled Hawaii 5-0, so he doesn't have a lot going on these days.
And William Eugene, his name is literally Billy Jean.
Billy Jean. Yeah. And fucking Billy Jean, was it Billy Jean Thompson? Yeah. Billy Jean Thompson. So
Billy Jean is
not my murderer. He's just a boy who said that.
Who has
hired him to kill my wife.
Who has done Fed time.
But I never paid him shit. Ooh.
Billy Jean.
Whoa, and Billy Jean will kill your wife now. For a fee, he'll go over and cut her throat. Oh my goodness, I love it.
Billy Jean.
Billy Jean is murder for hire. That would be a theme song for his commercial.
That's fantastic.
Kill your wife, son, daughter, or business partner. Hey, he'll do it all. There we go. So hey, everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you about a healthy, delicious item, Hero Bread. And we're both trying to get healthier this new year. Jimmy had a eye-opening doctor's appointment and things like that. So we're trying to get healthier, and I'm telling you right now, this Hero Bread is a good step in this direction. It's delicious, and it is really good for you, and it's really excellent. They have the sliced bread is good, the bagels, the tortillas. I know you've been
they're terrific.
Ranting about the tortillas. They're so good. With Hero Bread, you can focus on your health goals and still indulge in the soft, fluffy experience you love, but guilt-free. I really love the little Hawaiian rolls, too.
Yeah.
They're so good. They're so good. The Hawaiian rolls, they're legit. They're fluffy. They're exactly how you want them to be. You'd never know it's low-carb and high-fiber bread from the texture. You get the soft, fluffy experience you know and love with your savory breakfast sandwich, late-night grilled cheese, Taco Tuesday. Do it. No compromises, just flavor, ultra-low net carbs, 0 grams of sugar, high in fiber. It's fantastic. Hero Bread is offering 10% off your order. Go to hero.co and use the code SmallTownMurder at checkout. That's SmallTownMurder at HERO.co.
And now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show and tell you all sorts of good stuff about Chime. That's what I'm talking about. There's so many extra fees you have to pay in life. Everything. You go to the airline, there's an extra ticket on that. There's extra fee on every fees and fees, hotels, fees, all this type of stuff. We're trying to make progress, and the next thing you know, here comes another fee coming at you, and it's more money than you expected, and your whole math is thrown off, and it's awful. Learn more at chime.com/smalltownmurder. Chime is great with that stuff. I mean, you can't beat if your things are a little tight, especially around the holidays or after the holidays. You need that money a couple days early, or you go grocery shopping. You got a car payment due. There's so many things that don't cross over exactly how you want them to cross over. Make progress toward a better financial future with Chime. Open your account in 2 minutes at chime.com/smalltownmurder. That's chime.com/smalltownmurder. Feels like progress. Banking services and debit cards provided by Bancorp Bank N.A. or Stride Bank N.A., members FDIC. Spot me eligibility requirements and overdraft limits apply. Boosts are available to eligible Chime members enrolled in Spot Me and are subject to monthly limits. Timing depends on submission of payment file. Fees apply at out-of-network ATMs.
And now back to the show.
It's all going down. Woody, Billie Jean,
Yep.
So picture this now. We got Tom Hanks from Toy Story, and you got a cartoon cowboy, Michael Jackson in his shiny, sparkly Wizard of Oz shoes, and
Walking into a murder scene.
and a mechanic to drive the car. So
And a mechanic. We're out of ideas.
he'll cut your throat and then go, woo, afterwards. Yeah. And he says, show me your butthole. No, I want to see your butthole. So, okay, this is what he said. This is Woody's words about this.
Yeah.
We, meaning, him and Billie Jean here, we crossed the creek. Robert Sykes waits in the car. He's the wheel man. He's the wheel man. You got to stay in the car.
He's out there tuning it up, making sure it's ready to go.
He's checking. I picture him with driving gloves on. He's checking the oil by the fucking moonlight, making sure it's good. Like he's got a wrench out. He goes just adjusting a piston.
Tapping the fuel gauge, making sure it's accurate.
All right, we're good. Let's go. He's revving up the engine, keeping the RPMs up in case they really need to take off.
Pulling the spark plugs, making sure it's running lean.
Oh, you want it to run
Ready to
lean,
go.
Jimmy. It's ready to go here.
We want her fast.
Oh, we need her fast and lean, baby. So they crossed the creek on foot, first of all. So it's starting out right away with a hillbilly fucking creek crossing.
Yeah.
Waded the creek at about 25 or 30 feet apart and went up on the railroad tracks and proceeded toward her house. So her house is on the creek on the railroad tracks.
Yeah. There's a creek and railroad tracks in the directions to her home.
That is really straight. No driveway or road involved in this. Creep on up through the creek. Once you get to the railroad tracks, you're about there. You're about there now. That's how you get to her house, by rail. That's what's fucking... It's a house that doesn't have... Well, you got to have a steam engine to drive to my house now. Tell you what, or put your hip waders on, one of the two. 'Cause there's a
All
crick.
aboard!
There's a crick in a train you're going to have to deal with.
Heading home.
Oh,
All aboard.
my God. So...
Next stop.
Jesus Christ.
Ex-Deskin's house.
It's Deskin's. The Deskin's residence next house. So he said, about halfway from where we crossed the creek to her house, we sat down on the railroad tracks. Sat down because the lights were still on in her house. So they just sat there hanging out on the tracks for a while.
You can literally see your house from the rail.
Yeah, it's right there. It's what I mean. It's like on the rail on the creek. He said, we sat there approximately an hour until the lights went out in her house, and then we sat there a while longer, and then we proceeded up to Mrs. Deskin's house. Okay, boy. Lights out. How long does it take a 60-year-old lady to go to sleep? Okay,
off, yeah.
There we go. Let's do that. So now Woody claims, quote, I stopped at an oil drum that looked like where they had burned garbage, and Eugene proceeded to the house. Okay. So he's going to stay put. I'll wait out here. So
I'm going to investigate the burn barrel.
Well, it's a 3-tiered attack. We got the guy out in the car, and then another half distance we got him, and then you go in the house. That way there's a chain of communication that we can, a supply chain. You never know how long we're going to be here.
Really good and staggered.
Doesn't want to be there. They're real staggered out. So he said Eugene goes to the house. He said he went to the lower part of the house toward Johns Creek School, and he was making all kinds of noise.
Yeah.
Can't be doing that. He said, so I was left there to fire a shot in case anybody came up.
Okay.
So he was there. He's the guard guy. If anybody walks up to the house, if anybody comes in the middle of the night through the creek and over the tracks, you fire a shot up into the air. Like anybody's wandering by here. There's nowhere to wander by. You're going to this house or you're not. It's the middle of the night, too, is the other thing. It's not like, some people are going out fishing or something. What the fuck is going on here?
He's making all kind of racket. None of the non-neighbors might hear it.
No shit. Well, in this area, they just figured it was a raccoon out in the cans, and they don't even think twice about it. Jesus Christ. Yeah, they burned down the other house in the area. There was one other house, and they burned it to the fucking ground. There's nothing here.
She is bookended by a creek and a rail. There's nobody there.
I feel like we don't need a lookout here, probably. No. I think we can do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Probably safe. So I found that fucking hilarious that's what he says. He stayed there in case anybody came up, which I don't believe him, honestly. I don't believe that was the plan. He said once he heard Eugene making some noise, quote, well, I got scared and left. Well, that's not good. You are bad at this, sir.
You're the bad guy. Why are you scared? Who are you scared of? You?
I'm scared. You have a gun. What are you scared of? Yeah. I guess I don't like raccoons, though. They're scary. They got rabies, and they're hard to shoot. So
if I'm in the dark and I'm a bad guy, there might be other bad guys in this dark. I got to go.
Maybe that noise wasn't Eugene. Maybe he was another bad guy. We don't know.
Yeah.
Shit. I mean, could have been anybody. I mean, I don't know what the hell's going on. You could have had.
What are the odds of two bad guys in the same spot?
Maybe it was Dirty Diana. I don't know what the hell's going on. What's happening here? There's a lot of Michael Jackson song characters coming up here. And I said, I won't stop till I get it up. And I was just like, I'm done with this shit and I'm out of here. You know what I mean? I'm done.
I don't know who I was scared of, him or the man in the mirror.
I couldn't tell. I said, I think I'm scared of the mirror because these days I can't tell whether I'm black or white even. So I don't even know. I don't know what's going on now.
I do know that this whole situation is bad. I got to go.
It all seems bad. I said, I'm going to get out of here. And I sang that Free Willy song and jumped over the creek.
It all seems bad. I got to jam.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Michael Jackson's fun. He did a great job.
Thank God he's got so many songs. That's the thing. He's got 80 fucking thousand songs.
List, man.
We can really go through.
Catalog.
We could do that all night, really.
All night.
What I mean? I told him, I'll be there, okay? Just call my name and I'll be there. Just call my name. I'll be there. I'll be right outside. ABC 1, 2, 3. Y'all have a good one in there. All right, then. Oh, no. Shit. So, anyway, I got scared. I got scared and left. Went back down the railroad track across the creek, and just as and then there's an ellipsis, so he just kind of trails off. During all this time, he was making all kind of noise, kicking or something. Kicking or something?
Kicking what?
I'm not sure on the building. So he was kicking somewhere on the building. And when I got behind the pumping station above the John School there, I heard a shotgun blast. And I waited there maybe 5 minutes, and Eugene Thompson joined me.
Okay.
So that's his story. I came up, stopped at the barrel, fucking sang the entire Thriller album, watched zombies perform a well choreographed fucking thing out in the woods.
Heard kicking on the door, probably.
Heard kicking. Assumed Michael Jackson had turned into the Thriller zombie, and I ran away. So he ran away, got up to the pumping station, through the creek, and heard a shotgun blast, hung out there with his rifle in his hand by the pumping station.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, here comes Billie Jean joining him. All is done. So all is well.
Now we head back to the car?
Well, he said that he said, they went back to the car, and him and Sykes and Billie Jean all proceeded up Caney Creek, where they buried the shotgun and threw away his shoes. That he threw away. Christian threw away his shoes as well.
I'm impressed they have them.
I was going to say, I feel like he was just like, my feet feel like they're in a prison. He didn't even go in the house. It had nothing to do with evidence or anything. He was just like, I can't wear these shoes no more. I didn't want to leave my toe prints on the ground, but now I'm done now, boy. I'm throwing these shoes out.
You ever put those socks on that have like the toes? That
No, never.
That's probably what they feel like. Because those things are awful.
No,
They're like little mittens for your feet. They're horrific.
Yeah, no.
They're so bad.
Who decided there have been socks and mittens and gloves for thousands of years now.
Right.
The
last 5.
Do you think that wasn't tried in the beginning when someone made mittens? You didn't think, I'll make that for feet. And people went, no, these are terrible. And then didn't make them for thousands of years. What do they think? Whoever came up with that like 20 years ago think that was an original idea that they could. I know. No one's ever tried this before.
I'll make toe socks. And then guess what? Toe shoes. The worst invention on the planet.
Stupid. No. So they buried the shotgun. They did all that. He gets rid of his shoes. He's been moonwalking all over that place. There could be prints everywhere. So then Woody said that the following evening, he went to the trailer, to Deskin's trailer, Boone's house there, where Boone handed him $6,900.
What the fuck, man?
Now, $100 was withheld. It was supposed to be $7,000. See what I mean?
Right.
But $100 was withheld for a revolver that he had given to Christian. So
wait, what? Minus supplies.
Minus the supplies that I gave you to kill my wife. That cost you. You got your own expenses. What the fuck? It's a tax purposes thing. Write them off on your. Jesus Christ! Do I have to tell these fucking hillbillies everything? Don't even know how to write goddamn business expenses off. You fucking bastard.
Expenses of a weapon. Jesus Christ.
He took it out.
He's a cheap bastard is what he is.
That's what I mean. See what I'm saying? He just seems like a cheap scheming bastard. You'd be like, really? Really, bro? Really?
You charge me $1 for the bullets too, you piece of shit.
We used one of them. So so Woody divides the money with Billie Jean and Sykes. Yeah, so there you go. All divvied up. Gladys, we'll find out about her here. July 12th, 1971, she doesn't show up for a hearing that day. There's a divorce hearing that day, so it's kind of important that it happened on the 11th.
The day before.
The day before. She was supposed to appear with her attorney and with counsel there for Boone, also before the Master Commissioner of Pike County for further divorce proceedings.
Is that a job?
That's a job. Master Commissioner. The Master Commissioner of Pike County. Wow. She failed to show up for this, so her lawyer tried to call other people. So they called like former neighbors that she knew and asked if they would go over there and check on her. They go over there, they check on her, they open the door, nothing seems amiss in the house. They go down to her bedroom and they find her still in bed.
Oh.
Soaked in blood.
Oh, no.
Wearing her night clothes. You can really tell there's a problem because half of her head isn't there.
Jesus.
She only has half a head from a shotgun blast to the head. Literally took half of her head off. Absolutely horrific photos, obviously, of this. And not only that, she was stabbed 13 times as well.
Why?
Which seems like either way, that's overkill.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
both are too much.
You have to assume the stabbing came first.
Probably, right?
Because I would imagine if you took half of someone's head off, you'd be like, that should do it. They don't have, most of their skull and half of their brain. That should probably do the trick. I don't really need to stab them.
Unless it's a hillbilly who's never murdered anybody and the shotgun blast and then they see that the body's still moving. You know what I mean?
Maybe. It seems more likely that they stabbed a whole bunch of times and was like, holy shit, they're still alive. You know what I mean? And then just boom, took the fucking head off. That's the logical progression for me is she didn't die right away because people don't die right away from stab wounds. It takes a while to bleed out.
You got to bleed out, yeah.
Even if someone gets their throat cut, I almost said, even if you cut someone's throat, like we're cutting throats all the time. Last time I was cutting this guy's throat, let me tell you something. It took a while for him to bleed out. I was getting impatient, if I'm being honest with you. I had an appointment to get to. I was like, let's go.
He drowned before he bled out. It was crazy.
So a pathologist would testify that she was stabbed 13 times in the back, neck, and arms.
Jesus.
Also, her ribs were fractured from possibly a shotgun, the butt of the shotgun beaten in her ribs. And she was shot in the back of the head with the sawed-off shotgun. Wow. So it took off the whole top back of her head. Fucking brutal. So they ended up burying the shotgun and the knife in a creek bed, the other creek there, split up the money, and that's how it ended up going down. So his wife is found dead in very suspicious circumstances, obviously murdered. By the way, nothing is stolen from the house.
Nothing.
A thing. So, it's not like, this was she's in the middle of nowhere, a 60-year-old lady in an isolated place by the railroad tracks. Anybody could come in with a bindle and murder her and take her shit. Nobody took shit.
Okay.
So that's interesting. So that 2 days later, you think Boone would be laying low at this point.
You'd think, yeah.
No. 2 days later, he decides he's going to sue the state.
For what?
He files a lawsuit 2 days later it's a lawsuit against the Franklin Circuit Court, in Franklin Circuit Court, against the former chairman of the State Alcoholic Beverage Control Board and its 3 present members, the director of field activities, and the 3 field agents or investigators for the board who are responsible for an illegal arrest and what he calls the illegal seizure of his property.
I will take my booze back, please.
He seeks $25,000 collectively against the group for their actions and their failure to return his personal property belonging to him and seized in connection with all of this shit, okay? So that's what he said. Now, what ends up happening is the judge ruled that everything was seized unlawfully.
Oh.
Yeah, so he files the suit. The judge says that they arrested him on April 4th and 5th, 2 different days, accused him of transporting alcoholic beverages, like we said. He gets acquitted of those charges, and they said that the police had not obtained a search warrant, although they had sufficient time to do so, and without the evidence there illegally obtained with no warrant, there was no case against him.
Fascinating.
They held that there was plenty of time to get a search warrant, insufficient evidence for search and seizure. It was claimed the board did not return the personal property of the truck and the booze at all to him. And in failing to comply, they said that they maliciously and willfully and with wanton disregard for the rights of Deskins. So they ended up giving him $15,000.
Fascinating.
It's fucking crazy. So he ends up basically making double his murder money off of the state from a couple of days later. He's like, that's great when the state pays to kill your wife. That's wonderful.
And some to spare.
Oh, got my money back. More than broke even. That's good. Yeah. That's good. So they said by virtue of the judgment of dismissal in the Mason County Court, Deskins is not required to prove anew that he was in lawful possession of his personal property at the alleged time of the seizure. So there you go. The court has required Deskins to incur a $1,000 legal fee and future fees of $6,000 for the purpose of reobtaining a reasonable value of his wrongfully seized personal property. Now, later on in the year, he is convicted of the tractor theft.
Oh, that's not good.
They don't believe any of his bullshit story.
Yeah.
The guy said he never paid me. He just came, we negotiated a price, and then the tractor was gone, and that was that. And then it came back one day. So, no, he never paid me shit. He is sentenced to, you, sir, may fuck off 1 year in prison. So, 1 year in prison for Boone. on the
Unbelievable.
on a tractor theft charge here.
Pretty sweet gig.
Not bad. Not bad. So also in late 1971, the band is broken up. Billie Jean and Woody and Sykes, they're all going their separate ways now. They don't hang out anymore.
All right, yeah.
You know, you lose touch with people after you murder with them. It's tough, you know. So Woody, in late 1971, is in a federal prison, a federal penitentiary in Indiana.
Yeah, and he doesn't want to be there.
No, he's on a stolen vehicle charge at this point. So his father, Edward, persuaded him to confess to the murder because he had told his dad about it. So he persuades him, I'm going to confess about it. He wants to, his conscience was bothering him, he said. He wanted to confess about it. Apparently, the father kind of brokers a deal between him and the state's attorney to have him testify against everybody in exchange for immunity.
Oh.
Full immunity. Okay?
I can't be punished for this, but I'll tell you all about it.
I'll tell you all about it. So, yeah, they said that, it's fucking crazy. He said he confessed to the whole crime. Yeah. And they said, quote, this is the investigator, I guess it was just bothering him, and we had quite a bit of evidence at that time. He didn't even know I was going to talk to him. They did not have a deal to my knowledge. So that's what the guy says at the time. He goes, I came up and talked to him, and he had talked to me first. Yeah. So another guy said that he investigated weapons cases and said that Woody feared for his life and agreed to testify against the other guys in exchange for federal protection and immunity on weapons charges as well. So he's got state immunity, apparently, for the murder, and then he's also getting federal immunity for the weapons charges that would result from that murder as well. So covering all of his bases here. So, he confesses. He told the story like we told it earlier. And Boone Deskins, of course, and Billie Jean and Robert Sykes are all indicted on murder charges.
Oh, boy.
As well as Woody. Woody's indicted as well.
Woody's in trouble, too.
He's indicted, but we'll talk about it, how that ends up happening. So the problem is, too, there's corroborating evidence of this where the night of the murder, Sykes was seen with Woody and Billie Jean by the assistant chief of police.
Uh-oh.
Not good. Saw the three together between 10 and 11 o'clock on the night of the murder. It was right before they went to murder her. Saw them on the way. It was another patrolman, a different guy, also saw them together that
night. They just running around near the cops all night?
That's it. And then yet a third police officer said that he saw Sykes driving with Thompson and Christian in the car between 10:30 and 11:30 on the night of the murder as well. So
they found the most popular mechanic in town that all the cops know.
3 different cops. Well, they're all getting arrested all the time, so they all know who these fucking guys are. It's like these are the 3 guys you keep an eye on, and they're like, why are they all together? Well, easier to keep an eye on them, I guess.
Every cop's seen them tonight.
So they're charged. Boone is charged with murder as well.
Okay.
For conspiracy.
Oh, yeah.
For conspiracy.
Boone,
he paid for it.
Woody. Yes.
Yeah, Boone is. Now, Boone and Robert Sykes somehow get bonded out. They're free on bond, whereas the other 2 are still in jail because they have other charges pending on them as well. So somehow they're free on bail. Enter Archel Davidson. These people's names, Archel. Is that the full name of Archie? Archel, and they just call you Archie. Archel Davidson.
I've never heard that as a name.
No, and I never heard, what was the other one? Grested or
Gretzel?
Gerstel or some shit? I never heard any of these names as names. What's happening, Eastern Kentucky, fucking West Virginia? What is wrong? Groundhog for breakfast? Guys named Archel? I can't take it anymore. What the fuck is your problem over here?
Perhaps it's all the groundhog in your diet that you think that's a word.
Maybe that's what it is. They're probably full of parasites that are now inside of you, in your brains.
How drunk are your parents when you're born? They're like, just name Archel.
You sure, Archel?
Did you say Archie or Archel? You heard me.
Your name's Archibald, sir. Do you want him Archibald Jr.? Is that what you want? It's Archel. He said name him Archel. I don't know. Just write it down.
Sir, what did you say? You fucking heard me.
They're going to call him like Junior or fucking,
They're not naming
him
that. They're not calling him that anyway.
Yeah, they're going to name him some other bullshit anyway. It doesn't matter. Call him Woody or some bullshit.
You fucking heard me.
Archel here. Now, Deskins, he's up for murder charges, but he's out so he can do all this shit. He contacts Archel. Archel Davidson is an employee of the, okay, we got to get deep here. This is some hillbilly shit. This is like the mayor coming to the crime scene in that one, or like things like that. The prosecutor, the county prosecutor, is a part-time job here, okay?
Yeah.
So they have other business interests, these prosecutors, which is what you want. You want a lawyer who's got a side gig. You want the guy really giving a shit here. So he drives, he does DoorDash at night. Yeah. It's no big deal. So
he's got a side hustle.
He's got a side hustle, yeah. So he's the county prosecutor. This guy works for him, not in the county prosecutor's office, but Archel Davidson works for him in his other gig. Anyway, Deskins offered Archel Davidson $600 if he could obtain copies of the prosecutor's records in the case. Okay. Now, most of those you'll get from Discovery, first of all. That's called...
Yeah, you get that for free.
Listen, fucking Vincent Gambini over here. My cousin Vinny, you don't have to fucking charm the Discovery out of them.
You go hunting with them.
But they want all the records. He wants everything. He wants private shit that they don't give you, basically.
Because there's dick pics. I want everything.
Yeah, get me the shit that's going to... exculpatory shit. So... Anyway, the employee here is Archel Davidson. He contacted the prosecutor about this. Rather than do it, he said, I better contact the prosecutor because I don't want to get in trouble.
Yeah.
So he does here. So now the prosecutor works up a bunch of fake records and gives them to him. He goes, yeah, go over and give them to him.
Give him this.
Give him this and wear this wire while you're doing it, by the way.
Give him the white pages wearing this.
It's amazing. Just gives him a bunch of bullshit, Yeah. So anyway, Archel Davis is an employee of Francis Dale Burke. Francis Dale Burke is county prosecutor / coal business owner.
He's also running coal.
Your prosecutor runs the coal? Fucking what? No. No.
Does he run a mine, or is it just like acquisition and brokerage?
A coal business is all I see. He works in the coal business.
Yeah,
does it matter?
Like wholesale coal.
Just out of the back of his car? I don't know what's going on. Either way, it's a trunk full of coal here. Archel works for him in that capacity, in the coal business, not in the law business. Very different employees he has in both of those, I'm sure. And he is a friend of him here. Now, Archel is a very trusted friend of Boone Deskins. That's why he goes to him and says, hey, you work for the prosecutor. Can you scan me some records here? Now, Francis is an attorney, like we said, Francis Dale Burke, and he, oh my God, Jesus Christ. He was also the counsel. Not only is he his friend's boss in the coal business, and Francis Dale Burke is also the prosecutor who's been assigned to help prosecute Boone Deskins. Oh boy! So this is so backwoods. Everybody knows everybody. Yeah, this is not good, man. So that was confusing. I apologize. So they set up for Boone to meet Archel in his trailer on February 18th, 1973. It's like less than a month before Boone's trials to start. Okay. So Boon's going to give Archel $600 for copies of the materials found in the attorney's case. So Archel assures Deskins that he has a daughter-in-law who works in Burke's law office and can get the files that way. It's going to be no problem. Don't even worry about it. I got you covered, my friend.
That's on its way.
So Archel makes the arrangement known instead to the prosecutor, his boss in the coal business. And the prosecutor gives him an envelope containing documents that have nothing to do with anything. On the same morning, Archel meets Sergeant Marion Campbell of the Kentucky State Police, who tapes a microphone and radio transmitter under his clothing, so now he's wearing a wire. So Archel goes to the trailer and has the ensuing conversation, because we have the
fantastic
the transcripts of it, and I'm not making fun of anybody. I'm saying shit exactly how it's written, exactly how it was said. So that's how this goes here. This is here he starts out. This is Archel. I'll just do Archel and Boone as you guys. Archel, I've read Woody Christian's statement here on this thing. I've got the hospital, but she didn't get it all. She didn't get all the. That's the daughter, or the daughter-in-law didn't get all the shit. Right. I know because I didn't get to talk to her. But they's some shit right here, and I want you to read. They's some shit right here in this document, so I want you to read. Quote,
I wish we were doing this together.
I know. There's only short lines of the other, otherwise we would do. Otherwise I would have given you a copy, and we would have done it. We would have done
been so much fun.
We would have done Murder Piece Theater. Yeah, but it's very short replies. It wouldn't have been much.
It would have been great.
Yeah, it would have still worked. Yeah, next time we'll do it. That's all right. He said that son of a bitch had told about the first time he was ever about the house was burnt over there and how you paid him. I repeat, that son of a bitch had told about the first time that he was ever about the house that was burnt on over there and how you paid him.
I don't know what any of that means.
That's how people are talking just on a recording, and they're talking with their friend. So that's the normal way of language around here.
That son of a bitch.
So Boone then says, quote, what I paid him.
Yeah.
Indignant. And Archel says, over at the ice plant and who was with him, all about anything you, and then Boone cuts him off and says, who was with him? There wasn't nobody with him.
Oh.
So now Archel says, now right here is Woody Christian's evidence, most important part of it all, and you sit right down and read it. So you check all this out right here, buddy. So then Boone says, well, that's about all they got here. And Archel says, well, right there is what you want right there.
Right there's what you want right there.
That's about all you got right here. Well, that's about right there is what you want right there. And then Boone
have done it.
And then Boone says, yeah, what Woody Christian told right there. How many right there's are we going to say? What the fuck is going on?
This would have been great. Just say it all. One take, done.
One take, done. Not explain any of it. Have no one understand what the fuck we're talking about. That would have been great. Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, right there. Right there's all you got right there.
Right there. Well, that's about what they got here. Well, that right there is what you want right there. Yeah, that's what Woody Christian told right there. That's the line back and forth. Okay.
And it's like old boy standing over his shoulder pointing at the words on the paper. Right there.
Right there. Yeah, it's right here. No, right there. Right here, right there. Right there. You ain't heard me?
Right here's what Woody's got right there.
Well, shit, it's right there. Get why you don't understand that. So, yeah.
I wish I was there. I want to see that scene.
Well, you don't have the shit. Yeah. I didn't give it to you.
No. I mean, I wish this was videotaped. And I could watch
I was
them
like, what are you talking about? Right where? Right there? Where do you want to be?
Right
You're right there.
I'll be right here watching it right there.
I could kick you from here. No, there. Right there I could kick you, not here. I'm going to kick you right there from here, understand?
Yeah, but I want to be right there watching this right here.
Wait, right there, or right there?
I don't care.
All right, then come on over here. So,
I want to watch them do it so bad.
I do, so fucking bad. I wish it wasn't just audio tape, videotape. I want to see if either of them were confused. That's what I want to see. Was there one eyebrow, like just furrowed brow of like, what's that now?
Real hillbilly who's on first.
Yeah, that's what it is. So, yeah. What Woody Christian told right there. And then Archel says, quote, they ain't got no case against you. They ain't got nothing said that you ever done anything. Just what he told. They ain't got nothing said that you ever done anything. Just what he told.
Which is, they got someone who said it.
They ain't got nothing said that you ever done anything. What the fuck do those words mean together? They ain't got nothing said that you ever done anything.
Watching you try to put those words in order.
I can't.
Because they don't matter.
It hurts. It hurts. My brain is like, I don't know if you ever got this right up by your eyes. I have like these little dancing stab wounds in my eyeballs.
You know what it is, like James? It's because you have some high school and they don't.
That's what it is. I'm in the some high school territory. This is the 7% with no high school. I'm like, this ain't what they taught in the 10th grade. And they're like, 10th grade? Don't go up that high.
Book boy.
Oh, listen to Mr. Book Learning over here. Mr. Fancy Pants Book Learning. Well, why don't you educate me as to how I ain't speaking the Queen's English? Go ahead and do it.
Tell me more, Mr. Scholastic Weekly.
Oh, Mr. 10th grade social studies is going to come in and tell me all of it. Come on now, fancy boy. Tell me everything you learned when you was skipping school in the 11th grade, never going to class. Tell me all about it now.
Scholastic reader.
Tell me about all them fucking reading books you participated in when you was little. Tell me all about them. The book fairs. I go to the hillbilly fair. That's my fair. So they ain't got nothing said that you ever done nothing, just what he told.
Right.
Meaning Woody, I believe, is the he in that.
Meaning they've got somebody that told.
I think Woody said something. Then Boone says, just the money. And Archel says, yeah, just the money. And then Boone says, quote, hell yes. Well, I knowed that was...
Yeah.
Trails off and then says, had to be true anyhow. Hell yes. Well, I knowed that was. Had to be true anyhow.
Okay.
I don't understand that. This to me is more, this must be like in the 80s when they would do like John Gotti's phone conversations and they were like, we don't understand any of this. And we had to they had to translate all this. I feel like I need like a hillbilly translator. I need a guy with no shoes and overalls sitting next to me and go, oh, no, that's nothing now. Let me tell you what that means now. And going over it. Right there, and pointing it out to me. So I'm fucking confused of what happened right there. Apparently, that was incriminating.
Evidently, that's enough. They throwed away the key.
From what I understand, in court, they were like, there it is. A smoking gun. I don't know what the fuck that is. Apparently, that in that language, that's a confession. I don't know it. He could have done that shit in Mandarin Chinese, and I would have fucking had a better idea what he was talking about. But that is apparently
evidently that holds up in court.
There you go, done and done. Holds up.
Holy Christ, Kentucky, get it together.
So they had. This is crazy, man. What the fuck? This isn't even Kentucky's fault. Like I said, they carved out this corner and were like, give it to those fucking people. We'll be over here. Like the rest of Kentucky, I feel like, is even looking over there going, y'all don't go to Pike County. They're like, oh, shit, no, Jesus Christ. That's over by Mingo. We don't have no part of that shit. That is a different area, I feel like.
It's unbelievable.
This is a very specific area right here. So this went on. They recorded more that day that we don't have. And also, he came back the next day to record more and talk about it.
Okay.
So, but apparently that was the most incriminating part was that part right there. That's the part that they played. They're going to play that for the jury, and they can't wait. Oh, once they hear that, then they're going, no, right there. That's what they said.
He knowed it. It was
He
true.
knowed it, and I heard several right there's, which I feel like is... So, yeah, this is to demonstrate that Deskins had a plan, and that they're talking about the plan, and that he also tried to. This is another crime to try to obtain files illegally from somebody who knows someone who works in the prosecutor's office. So that's another crime they can charge him with. So 1973, here's Boone's trial. Woody Christian testifies that he and Sykes received $7,000, and they gave Thompson about $2,400 out of that since he's the trigger man, and then they split the other. They gave him the extra 100.
Yeah, he got the lion's share.
He got the most of it. So Sykes is going to testify now. He's the wheelman, as we remember here. He's the mechanic out there, out there tightening the pistons. He says,
That's not a thing.
No, not at all. That's why I said it. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. He's got driving gloves on, just tightening them. That's better, yeah. Shining shit. Checking levels of fluids. I got to check the transmission fluid. Hold on. He just gets out like you never know.
Unbelievable.
So
checking the timing on this thing.
I need to check. They come back with guns. Get in the car. He's like, the timing's off on the. Hold on. I gotta get it.
Sputter, y'all.
It's not going to run right. She's going to run rich. Let me just fix this up quick. And they're like, get in the fucking car.
It's running a little fat. Hold on.
Hold on 1 minute now.
The jets are too big.
I don't like the sound of it. You hear that? Y'all hear that? Get fucking in the car. We just murdered a lady.
It's got a real blubber at top end,
I
y'all.
don't see. It's got that plop plop. I don't like that. This car ain't supposed to sound like that. Plop plop. It's got like a chop to it that it just shouldn't be with this kind of car.
Should have more rattle, y'all.
It's more of a consistent rattle. This is like a chop. And I don't know if there's an obstruction. Tell you what, I'm gonna get in there and check the fuel lines quick. Y'all sit tight in the back seat. I'm gonna just make sure the fuel lines is clear. Y'all got any kerosene? I'm gonna run it through there and make sure the fuel lines are good.
Pull this thing over and check the compression. Hold the heads real quick.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit about Sono Bello. You know, the most known secret with celebrities and influencers and all these famous people is so many of them have had lipo. They've had lipo, whether it's a little touch up here or a total makeover. Yeah. Nobody has a perfect body. That's the thing. No. They may look like it on TV, but there's things that help that. Absolutely. Lipo now has changed, and Sono Bello's been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting those beautiful and natural outcomes for each person. Looking real natural. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently. Wherever your problem areas are, tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that, but if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/smalltownmurder. That's sonobello.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Hey everybody, just going to take a quick break from the show to tell you a little bit more about our stylish friends at Quince. That's right, let's go elevate your styles, people. Yeah. Get it going, look good out there, and you can do it now without breaking your wallet, without breaking the bank, because at Quince, you can get high-end, versatile pieces at prices we can all actually afford, which is very nice. You want to get good stuff that lasts and it's good, and they have quality stuff that's very affordable, and you can do like we did, upgrading our stuff here, while still being a very reasonable price. Quince only works with factories that use safe, ethical, responsible manufacturing practices, along with premium fabrics and finishes. It's all quality stuff. You're going to love it. Trust us, it looks good. And I've got the leather jacket. It's a very high-quality item. Real nice, soft leather. Yeah. Jimmy's got his linen pants he's rocking.
Yeah. They're terrific.
Come on, be like us. Be fashionable. Get in there with Quince. Indulge in affordable luxury. Go to quince.com/smalltownmurder for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's QUINCE.com/smalltownmurder to get free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/smalltownmurder.
Now back to the show.
Holy shit.
Real quick right there.
So now everybody, Woody says he was there. Yeah. Eugene Thompson's got another story. He's got a story that he was there, but it was all Woody Christian ran amok and just went nuts, right? Oh. Now Robert Sykes says, not only was I not in the house, I wasn't even in the state that day. I don't know what I know that I was seen by 3 police officers on that day. Was 3 separate police officers with the 2 people, but you know who else were? I was in Michigan, as a matter of fact. That's where I was. I was in Michigan.
It's an awfully long way away.
That's why. He's like, how could I possibly have murdered? Yeah. He said, I was in Detroit on that day. Which is very different from here. Extremely different. He said that on that day, he testified in court that he and his brother Ernest Sykes, which I just picture Ernest, Ernest, were with that hat and everything. He fits right into this area. Know what I mean, Burn? And he's, we know what you mean. Ernest can translate that for us, that tape. Now, he's saying this now.
Me and my brother and his little dog Rimshot, we were up there.
Oh, baby, I'll tell you what. So he said, we were in Detroit, having arrived there between 8 and 9 a.m. that day. Wow. So how the hell could we have killed anybody? He said he had about $500 on him that day. It was an accumulation of money received from cashing his unemployment checks, obviously.
Right.
And that that means he had a job at some point, which is impressive.
Sure
I'm shocked for these people. And that he had bought 2 cars as well. I don't know what that had to do with anything. So he had $500 there. Okay. He showed papers during the testimony to show he had purchased 1 car. But this is while he was there. He goes, I went up to Detroit, bought a couple of cars that day. He said, though, he misplaced the purchase papers, the receipt and everything for the second car. I don't know where those are, but first car, see, it clearly says what date I was there.
Obviously, yeah.
Couldn't have wrote that in with my own hand or had somebody else just write up a form saying I bought a car, right? That's impossible.
Right. That was all printed off of a...
Your Honor, I mean, no one could write a form, could they? I mean, that's outside the scope of reality.
You
really.
write the date down, and there
That's
it is
how
right
it
there.
works.
There's the date.
No one could forge that or write a different date ever. So he denied receiving any money from anybody in this case. Woody didn't give me money. I didn't get anything from Boone. I know nothing. Mrs. Dorothy Charles, who was in Michigan, who lived in Michigan, said that Robert Sykes, who was a friend of her husband, visited their home near Detroit on the morning of July 12th. She is there to alibi him up. Wow. She said she remembered the visit because it was on the day she was preparing for the birthdays of her daughter and her daughter's husband. So she knows it was the 12th. So
specific day, yeah.
Obviously he wasn't there. Never mind the two corroborating witnesses and the 3 police officers who saw him there. Never mind that. So Boone testifies on his own behalf.
Well, you have to, right?
Not in this one. This is one where you definitely shouldn't. But he does because he is an arrogant asshole who feels like he can manipulate the situation from the stand. Sure. He's that kind of guy. He's like,
James, he's well versed in all the evidence that they have. So, yeah, I'll go up there.
I mean, yeah, he's got it all here. So he testified concerning the taped conversations with Archel. And, he said that he did not deny participating in the conversations on the tapes because they played them for the jury, but he claimed that it was Archel who initiated the sale of the information. He said, hey, buddy, you want to buy prosecutor records for $600? And I was like, well, I mean, if you got them, I guess. I mean, why not? He said that that Archel did most of the talking, and that he claims the tapes were misleading and could very easily be misinterpreted. That's the only true thing he said. They could definitely be misinterpreted because I didn't know. You could tell me he said anything, and I go, oh, all right, that's what that means? You can interpret that any way you want, really.
Yeah, he could have said, I'm really looking forward to Dustin Lynch this weekend.
Yeah, Dustin Lynch, yeah, I can't wait for the Cotton Bowl. He could have said anything, and I wouldn't have known what the fuck it was. He also declared that he knew nothing about the killing of his wife and denied paying $7,000 to these other men. I don't even know these guys. What are you talking about? He even said that he, quote, barely knew Woody Christian and Sykes and that he didn't know Thompson at all. Not even
Never
a bit.
heard of him. Yeah.
So how could I have done this? I don't even know these people. The jury, it's an 11-man, 1-woman jury. Uh-huh. So I think Boone's like, yeah, that's right. Get the men will understand. Trying to take my land, and then people saying you shoot your wife. They'll understand. Get as many men as you can on the jury. I guarantee you, he said that. Strike all them women. They're gonna be against me.
A lot of men with a lot of land that have been married around about 40 years.
Just if you could get like old guys, if you could, we could wear the same brand of overall. I feel like we'd have a connection.
They'll
that we
really
could know.
understand.
They find him after all this guilty. Yeah. Of fucking murder, you dumb shit. Yeah, you had people testifying that, yeah, you gave me money and then you had the tapes. You were fucked, dude. Sentencing comes around and they say to you, he's, 69 at this point in time?
Yeah.
You, sir, may fuck off life in prison with parole.
Yeah.
But he's 69 years old.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like 25 years we're talking. I don't know.
That's a long time.
How that's going to work. 74 is when Billie Jean and Sykes are going to be tried. They're all tried separately, by the way. Everybody tried separately. Now, the Sykes trial is pretty fucking hilarious, too. These people are all insane that we're dealing with here. They're all fucking insane. This whole case, I was looking at it going, is this real? This is like a crazy, this is a silly movie is what this is, except for the woman with half a missing head. This is silly. So until 75, Sykes was already in federal prison in Marion, Illinois for other shit. You know how that goes.
Yeah.
Weapons convictions from not even this case, from a totally separate case, mind you.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, by the way, Woody Christian, when he told the cops and all that, he took them to the site of the buried weapons and found them also.
Oh.
So they have the murder weapons now. They have all this shit.
Yeah.
It's not good. So, Sykes, by the way, Sykes, in addition to federal weapons charges that he's in prison for, he was also charged in Kentucky, because remember he was out on bail?
Right.
Him? He's also charged in Kentucky from 1973 with arson, obstructing justice, and unlawful imprisonment, and also being a habitual criminal.
Oh, you got that's the worst charge.
That is so bad. Yeah. You're not even we're going to call you a criminal. That's what you are. That's your
We're
label.
going to tag these charges with another one called being a complete and total fuck up.
Yeah. We go barber, lawyer, criminal. Those are your professions. That's what you are. That's what that means.
And you get charged for being that.
Yeah. Well, that's a crime too, by the way, to be such an asshole. We don't allow that sort of level of assholery around these parts.
It's an extra bit and amount of stank that we're going to rub on all this shit.
Oh, we're going to rub the stank on you. Don't worry about that.
Habitual criminal.
Prior to the trial, there's a hearing held in the judge's chambers. Now, Sykes himself, not his legal team, and I'll explain. He shouldn't be making any legal motions, but he does.
Probably not, yeah.
He moves that his lawyers, Johnson and Rowland, these two lawyers, be discharged from him as counsel. He doesn't like them.
I want to fire.
He said that they're inexperienced in criminal trials, and he then had this exchange with the judge.
Oh, boy. This is where
court.
we need it.
This is amazing. Quote, I am ready to let the court, Your Honor, proceed without them and without me. I will be no party to this trial. You don't need my lawyers or me. Fuck this. I'm out. The judge says, oh, yes, you will too, is what the judge says. Oh, yes, you will too. Like a little kid.
Yeah.
Then Sykes says, yes, Your Honor, I will be here, but I will be moot, and I will let you try the case and will have no part in it because my witnesses are not here. The Commonwealth has got my witnesses here at this time. Has not got my witnesses here at this time.
Okay.
So he's saying they didn't bring me my witnesses because my lawyers suck. So discharge them, and I'll just sit there and you have a trial about me while I sit there and watch.
Moot.
I'll be moot. I've never heard a person describe themselves as moot. I'll just be moot. I've heard I'll just sit there. Yeah, no, moot. He said moot in the. I'm sure he meant mute.
He meant,
but he said
maybe
moot.
he meant moot. Who knows?
Maybe that's how you say
both.
mute in Kentucky. I have no idea. In Eastern Hill, Kentucky, I'm gonna be. She a moot. A what? A moot. She don't talk. Yeah, fucking get the shit out your ears. Speak English. Jesus Christ. Right there. God damn it. Jesus Christ. Shit out your ears, boy. Come on now. So there is a witness, obviously. There is direct corroboration here. The testimony of Walter Hammershoy. Yeah. He testified that he took a car ride to Virginia with Sykes, and he said, quote, Sykes said he'd done it and said something about a certain amount of money he received, and I told him to shut up and that I didn't want to hear it.
Shut up.
Shut up. Don't be telling me about that. They asked him, quote, Walter, the Hammershoy, have you in the past had occasion to travel or run around with Robert Sykes? Yes, I had quite often. At any time, any place, have you heard Robert Sykes make any statement about his involvement in that crime? I did, in Virginia. Whereabouts, I just want you to explain. And where were you and who was with you and what was said? En route from Grundy, Virginia to Hasey, I guess, we was drinking a little bit while they're driving from one place to another. And Robert had earlier convinced me he had nothing to do with it, and then Sykes said he had done it and something about a certain amount of money he received, and I told him to shut up, and I didn't want to hear it. So why the fuck did you ask him about it? He asked him about it to begin with, and then when he told you about it, he said, shut up, I don't want to hear about it.
Shut up.
You're a shit friend. Don't ask. And then I testified. So
stop asking for stories you don't want to hear.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. So now, at this time, this is the crazy part here. This time, William Eugene Thompson, he testifies, and he said that he was in Gladys's home. He had a sawed-off shotgun, but he said he didn't have any intent to murder Gladys. He broke into a strange woman's home with a shotgun, didn't steal anything, but had no intent to murder her. Why'd you break in? For what?
He put himself in the crime scene with the murder weapon and then said, didn't do it.
But I didn't do it. He said what had happened was, he said, I was holding it and we were standing there and we were like, what do we do? And it accidentally just went off. You know how the guns sometimes just go off? And it just, it was like Pulp Fiction when he, in the back, and he's like, oh, shit, I shot Marvin in the face. It was one of those, except it was the back of the head, and most of it came off. And I was like, oh, shit, damn it. Well, I guess.
I tripped over the rug, you see.
You see that? In for a penny, in for a pound. Then I stabbed her 13 times. Except he said that Woody stabbed her 13 times then. Accidentally gunshot to the head, took half her head off, and then Woody's like, I need blood, and went down and just stabbed the fuck out of her too.
Mr. Wolf showed up and told us we had to stab her.
He said, then clean it up, and I got him all sorts of cleaning materials, and I'll tell you what, the upholstery of the car looked better than it did to begin with. It was nice. So the jury has got to hear all this. Robert Sykes, these poor people. They say, well, you are guilty, first of all, motherfucker. You weren't in Michigan and all this shit. Get the fuck out of here. You, sir, may fuck off. Life in prison as well for you.
Oh, boy.
Life so far. 2 for 2.
Yeah.
Now, next up is Billie Jean.
Okay.
William Eugene Thompson. And he is the character of this whole group we're going to find out, Billie Jean. He is not your lover. So he takes a stand in his own defense, of course, and denies all of Woody Christian's testimony of what he said of he went in the house, I heard a shotgun blast, he came out, whatever, all that shit. And he said, not only is it bullshit, what he's saying, but I know why he's saying it.
Why?
I know why. We had a fight 4 days prior to the killing because I was dating his wife.
Wait, what?
Billie Jean was fucking Woody's wife.
Yeah.
And he said they got in a big fight 4 days prior to the murder about Billie Jean fucking his wife.
So he went and murdered somebody, frame me.
Well, Billie Jean was her lover is the thing. That's the problem. So he was her lover, and then this is the problem here. Yeah, so he said that then I didn't do nothing, and then Woody's mad, so he's framing me. Okay, that's the story. The jury thinks about it for about 2 hours on this one, 2 hours of deliberation, and they find him guilty of conspiracy to murder, and they sentence him to, you, sir, may fuck off, life in prison. Okay, so
we're getting there.
Everybody's got all their shit there. Okay, so 1975, Deskins Boone appeals his case. Obviously,
he wants somebody to relook at this.
He wants it to look at under a closer eye. I think a little microscope action here.
You want us to listen to that tape again?
Well, he says that it was prejudicial error for the Commonwealth to introduce the evidence at trial, which had not been produced in pretrial discovery. The evidence which is subject to this contention consists of the tape recordings, because they didn't have them in pretrial because they happened after pretrial. That's the point.
Okay.
So you didn't have them yet. They were about pretrial. He wanted all the documents after that. So it's pretty funny that he was using that as a thing. The trial court had a hearing in chambers out of the presence of the jury on the introduction of the tapes and evidence. He permitted the counsel for Deskins to examine the police officer about the manner of the recording of the tapes. They call it recordation, which I've never seen before.
What?
Recordation. I've never seen that. We've been in podcasting, radio, movie, all this shit. I've never heard of recordation. Do you have the recordation? I've never heard that. It's recording. Thank you, Kentucky. Jesus Christ. What's that word?
Post-recordation.
What's that word for something that's recorded? What's that called? Recordation. That's what it is. Wow. Holy shit. And we had the tapes played in the presence of Deskins and his counsel, and so they said, we deem it appropriate to show in more detail the relationship between Archel and Deskins regarding the subject of the recorded conversations, because they're like, this wasn't just some guy off the street that came in with this recording. They're longtime friends, and the court record said, quote, had the same tendency toward greed. That's why he trusted. Deskins wanted the Commonwealth, wanted the files of the Commonwealth. Davidson wanted $600. They struck a bargain and each lived up to it. Deskins was conversing with a person known to him and whom he recognized. He had no guarantee that Davidson would not reveal what he said, and his attempt to interfere with the processes of the trial court and obtain papers illegally from the Commonwealth's files was admitted by Deskins, for he stated he delivered the files to his counsel. Okay. Deskins testified that his attorneys were aware of the files filched from the Commonwealth.
Gross.
Jesus. And that he delivered the documents to his attorneys. I really want to know who wrote this fucking... They all have their own personality, the people that write these decisions. They put their own like little spin on it.
Right.
Like in the one about Woody, it says it's only between him and his God what made him come forward or some shit. I'm like, that wasn't really necessary. They put their own stank on it. So, he said Deskins insisted that his attorneys told him that the documents were worthless. He further testified that when his counsel received the documents, they laughed at it, said they were worthless, yet he was most anxious to receive further documents on the day preceding the commencement of the trial.
Right.
He got the fake documents, brought them to his lawyer. His lawyer said, these are garbage. And then he went, I'll get more. I'll be right back. I'll get more tomorrow.
Yeah.
So they're delivered to him by Davidson. There was no obligation on the part of the Commonwealth to contact either Deskins or his counsel to advise them when it was obvious that the tapes were used simply to corroborate the evidence of the witness Davidson. The character of the tapes in question is such that Deskins was attempting to subvert the ordinary process of justice by stealing the files from the Commonwealth. It appears from the evidence of record that there is absolutely no conflict as to who made the first contact. Deskins testified that he contacted Davidson. Davidson testifies, I didn't contact him. He contacted me. Mm-hmm. So those are allowed in. They said that there's all these. They showed the contacts when the first contact was a month before. They talked first in January, then seriously about it in February, and then actually went through with it in the beginning of March.
Wow.
So it went on for a couple of months here. Also he talks about the tapes not shouldn't be allowed in. Blah blah blah. He has another problem here with the photographs. He said the photographs were too graphic. And they said no. They actually said in here, too, all the photographs were taken at the scene of the crime and revealed the nature of the wounds and the position of the decedent at the time she was found by the officers. In this advanced technological age of television, movies, and the news media, 1971 they're talking about, so this advanced age, these persons selected as jurors are able to view a picture of the body of a victim of a crime without prejudice to the defendant. Back then, maybe not, but who cares? So either way, they say, you're affirmed. Go fuck yourself and keep on fucking off.
Yeah.
Yeah. They said that his rights were not violated at all. He tried to steal records and they caught him. It was just a sting operation. And the Kentucky Court of Appeals rejected it, saying, quote, in an orderly society, there can be no question that individuals' constitutional rights are not broad enough to allow one charged with a crime a license to poison the very foundation of the judicial process.
Wow.
You, sir, can fuck off back to prison. Get going. Now, 1980. Woody still hasn't been to jail for any of this, by the way.
Is that right?
No, nothing's proceeded with him. A judge, Judge Venters, twice sets his case for trial in 1980 in June and then August. So Woody Christian. And then Christian's attorney asked that the case be dismissed for lack of a speedy trial, because it's been 9 years.
Right.
It doesn't happen, though. It stays in the system. But the trial never happens. It's delayed again.
Wow.
Okay. 1981, Boone Deskins is paroled.
What?
It is a medical parole because he has cancer.
Oh.
And he is 80 years old.
Yeah.
So they let him out, and then a month later he dies. So there you go.
Course, yeah.
Boone's dead. Boone's dead finally here. Now, Woody, on the other hand, 1982, Woody again asked that his case be dismissed, and the prosecution objects. If you don't have a case in 11 years, that's it.
Let the guy go.
let it go. Not that he should be let go, but you fucked up to the point where you don't really have any credibility left anymore when it's been 11 years.
It's a constitutional right. Speedy trial is a thing. 11 years is not speedy.
No, I mean, it's great for Woody because if they have a trial 20 years later, where's the evidence? What do you think? They keep the evidence in rural Kentucky all good and sound 71? For 20 years? Witnesses are dead. I mean, Boone's dead.
Right.
The longer you go, the more advantage that is to the defendant, especially if it's decades. So 1986, Judge Charles Lowe Jr., by the way, still going on, transfers Woody Christian's case out of his division into another judge's division thing because he's going to retire, okay? So now back to Robert Sykes, and then we'll go back to Woody. Robert Sykes, he's serving his time. In 1983, he comes from another prison that he was in that we told you about and starts serving this sentence in 1983 or in 1975. By 83, he's been there 8 years. He's in a medium security prison, and he gets transferred in July of 1983 to the Bell County Forestry Camp near Pineville. So this is a lot different than prison. It's a work camp. You work, but no fences. The officers don't carry guns. It's not some guy sitting up in a tower shooting you as you're running into the woods. That's the kill line right there, fellas. There's none of that shit here.
It's on the honor system.
It's just we're all doing forestry, I guess, for the love of the game. I don't know what the fuck's going on here. So, love of the game forestry. That's the name of this company. That's it right there. So he's there for about 17 days, and then he just walks off into the hills and never comes back.
Y'all mean nobody's watching? I'm just going to go. I mean...
He just left. Him and some other guy were just like, bye, and just took the fuck off. Walked off into the surrounding hills, which he knows his hills, this guy, and never comes back.
Yeah. They never find him?
Well, 2 years later...
Hilarious. They weren't even looking.
In Christmas, Florida.
Yeah.
Okay. In Orange County... Deputies and federal agents converge on, of course, a trailer. Obviously, in Christmas, Florida. And they knock on the door and they say, "You're Robert David Sykes. We're going to arrest you." He says, "I'm not Robert. I'm Robert Turner. I don't know who Robert David Sykes is."
Yeah.
And then he produces an Ohio driver's license that says he is, in fact, Robert Turner. And then another occupant of the house said, that's Sykes right there. That's his real name is Sykes, actually. And they're oh, good. And they arrest him and take him back to Kentucky and put him back in prison.
Okay.
He was just living. He got another driver's license. He was living quietly, not fucking doing shit, just laying low in a trailer park in Florida.
And the person that he was living with said, "No, that's Mr. Sykes."
Yeah, he must really leave a dirty bathroom or something. You know
Get
what I mean?
that guy the fuck out of my house.
Get him out of my fucking house. So now Billie Jean here.
Yeah.
He's going to become our little star of the show here. Billie Jean, he ends up back in Kentucky in December 1983 because he had all these other charges everywhere. So finally in 83, they put him in. That's when he's going to start serving his life sentence for the murder for hire of Gladys. So that's how that goes. Now, he first went to the Kentucky State Reformatory near LaGrange, Kentucky, in January 1984, where he remained until April 2nd of 1986, okay? Then he was transferred to a prison farm.
May as well give that a shot again.
So this is a different guy. This is Billie Jean, not Sykes, and a different prison farm. This isn't the forestry camp. It's a prison farm, okay? So now, how does a murderer get on the farm, you might be asking?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I have the things here. They say the reviews of prisoners' records were conducted every 6 months to see if change in their status and location is justified.
Right.
They did like a review every 6 months. Go, okay, well, he's been doing pretty well. We can probably transfer him to a lighter security one. This guy's been an asshole. We should transfer him to a worse one. A little
prison raise.
Review.
A prison raise is the equivalent of a little more freedom.
A little more, exactly.
Yeah.
So they said a number of considerations go into making the individual transferal decision. They said including the prisoner's conduct. Sure. They said Thompson was uniformly good at LaGrange, the last place he was. The number of escape attempts, Thompson had none. What the original offense was, that should have weighed heavily. A shotgun murder of a woman in bed with a fucking 13 stab wounds. And the length of the sentence and other factors. So those weigh really far not in his favor in the crime he committed and his actual sentence, whereas the other things, he's fine. So points are assigned for each category, and a prisoner must have 10 or fewer points to be eligible for transfer to a minimum security facility, such as the Lyon County Prison Farm, where he goes. So at his latest evaluation, he had 10 points, which is the exact bottom, least amount. Most you can have to still be transferred there.
Okay.
But so he gets transferred to the prison camp. So he's been, the last 10 years, he's been in various federal institutions.
Yeah.
He's been fucking all over the place. The one officer here, or caseworker, said he definitely met all of the guidelines for transfer to a minimum security facility. He really had an unmarred record. I believe he only had one minor institutional infraction. Other than that, he received meritorious good time and had very good record and no indications of being violent.
Okay.
So he's doing great.
Yeah.
He's doing great. Fantastic in May of 1986. He's coming along. It's that day where he is working on the farm, and there's a guy there who's the supervisor of the farm. He's an agriculturist. He's not a prison guard, different kind of guy. He runs this place, and he lives there with his wife and 3 young children on the farm as well.
What?
He's got his whole family there. Yeah. It's like an old-time warden living on the property situation, except it's a prison farm. It's minimum security.
In the 80s.
In the 80s, this is going on.
Oh, my God.
This isn't 1941.
No.
This sounds like Life with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence. Like, that's what I'm picturing, and it's not. It's the 40s.
There's not a guy in a white collar shirt with one of those black, tied bow ties. No. You know what I'm talking about? Like a
Flock of Seagulls is out right now. This is you know what I mean? This is ridiculous.
This is
Peter
insane.
Gabriel's making those videos with all the clay shit. This is a totally different fucking time.
Yeah.
Way different. So he lives there, and apparently there was a tractor situation. He needed help putting something with a tractor and a trailer. So he asked Billie Jean for help.
Yeah.
You help me out with this? So, okay. What ends up happening, by the way, this day is the 12th anniversary of Billie Jean's murder conviction.
Oh, my God.
It's a special day for a young man.
Happy anniversary.
It's a special day on the anniversary of your murder conviction, I will say. So there, out of nowhere, there's an off-duty guard at the farm, and before 5 a.m., he noticed a State Farm van parked in front of the junior high school in Princeton, about 10 miles away from the farm.
Okay.
He's a guard at the farm, but he's not at work. And he's like, why is there a van from work out in front of the school there? So, that's what he said. So now they look around, and he calls in and says, there's a van in front. What's up with that? What's going on?
You guys missing one?
Imagine that, carrying that when you're not working. I'd be like, well, not my fucking problem. I don't care what's going on. Wouldn't you be like, I'll ask tomorrow what was up with that?
Boy, that seems far from where it's supposed to be, but I'm going to go home.
That seems far. Yeah, well, what time is fucking Arby's open till, Like you're... So, what time does that Dollar General close? So they check around the prison and find out they're missing 2 inmates.
Uh-oh.
They're missing Billie Jean Thompson.
Of course.
And a guy named Cash is the other inmate.
Yeah.
So, or no, not the other inmate. That's the guy. They can't find the agricultural guy, Cash, the guy who lives there with his wife and family. So they can't find the prisoner or the guy they're supposed to find. At 5:30 a.m., they enter the dairy barn that Cash oversaw, and they find him in there.
Yeah.
He's in there.
Yeah.
The day before, the crew had to pull start the tractor using a van. So when the tractor wouldn't start on this day, Cash backed the van up to the tractor, and Thompson began hooking them together with a chain. Mm-hmm. So now Cash is unarmed. He's an agriculturist. He's just hanging out there. When Cash comes around to where Thompson was working, Thompson, out of nowhere, pops up and starts bashing him in the head with a claw hammer.
Of course.
I mean, fucking bashes his head in.
Vicious.
Well, let's hear the police report here, quote, or the medical report, quote, he struck him in the back of the head, on the right side of the head, on the left side of the head, and on the face. He hit him 12 times with such cruel blows that his skull was shattered.
Of course.
He fucking brained this guy right there in the dairy barn.
Got a family.
Or outside of it. Yeah, 3 kids.
Probably 1,000 feet of here.
I guarantee you he's seen these kids, met these kids, knows these kids.
Yeah.
So then Thompson, Billie Jean, drags Cash's body into the barn and puts some straw on top of it. 'Cause that'll do it. So then he took Cash's keys and wallet and pocket knife and hopped in the milk van and drove away.
Wow.
Takes off. A prisoner who saw the van leaving said that they probably went to get the other tractor. He thought that it was Cash and Thompson together going to get a tractor. He goes, they're probably going to drag the other tractor back here. So, they said he was really blood spattered here. It was fucking terrible here. So he said, this is the prosecutor said, the truth is Fred Cash was still alive when he was lying on the ground outside the barn, still alive when he was dragged into the calf stall. They said about Thompson, he went and straddled the body and placed these 3 death blows in the back of the head.
Wow.
So he did like 3 to finish him off once he got him in there. A pathologist described the cluster of wounds was among 12 on the head and said that, quote, as the most severe, very deep, with pieces of brain and skull protruding out of one wound.
That is fucked up.
He put the hammer through his skull.
Unreal.
That's really gross and hard, man. They also pointed out the cocked left leg of Cash, who they described as in the final spasms of life and struggling when the final blows were struck behind the left ear. They said if he had pulled him back there after he died, his leg would have been straight. His leg twitched up, so he dragged him over there and did that. They also noted that he had only been at the farm for 17 days. He is described as white, 5'10", 170 pounds, bearded, tattoos on arms, and all 10 fingers.
Really?
Which was very rare in the 80s.
Yeah.
Very rare. Wearing green fatigue. So this guy stands out like a tattooed thumb. Never mind a sword thumb. A sword thumb. So what he did, he apparently took the state van, escaped from there, drove to Princeton. Remember, that's where the van was, where that guy saw it, about 10 miles away. Abandoned the van in Princeton, shaved his beard and cut his goatee and cut his long hair in a gas station restroom. Wow. And then purchased a bus ticket to Indianapolis. Now, about 9 a.m., though, that day, he stopped in Madisonville and tried to change buses, and that's when he was caught. They caught him, pulled guns on him, and he said, y'all got me, was his line.
Sure did.
So, well, y'all got me. So what he did with the problem was, they said, the first thing that gave him away was he paid for the bus ticket in $1 bills. The agent thought it was... in singles. The agent thought it was strange, and he notified the police.
Who's this guy? Stripper?
What? Hold on a second. So it's suspicious to pay for a bus ticket to... How much could a bus ticket to Indianapolis possibly cost in the
69 singles is a lot.
In the 80s, it was probably fucking $18.
Yeah.
Like, he had... So what? Who calls the cops over that? That's crazy.
Hello, 911. Yeah, I'd like to report some weird singles paying shit.
He paid. It's normally somebody with like a 20, maybe 2 10s. He had singles. No, all singles. They was all American currency. That's right. Yeah. Oh, you'll be right down to take a report? Excellent. I'll be here waiting.
You say you're going to send 3 deputies with guns drawn? Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, really. If you could. Bring one of them, that little tank thing y'all got down there, because that's pretty cool, and you never know.
Guns drawn to pull this singles paying son of a bitch off the bus.
That's what it was, man. So they arrived at the bus station. They send waiting passengers to the back of the place. They recognized him by the tattoos on his fingers, because it's not a wise decision if you're trying to blend in society in the 80s. Right. So the sergeant pulled out a shotgun, and Thompson, he walked out, and there was a shotgun pointing at him, and he said, y'all got me. That was that.
Was it the singles? Damn it.
Damn it. Fucking singles. But that's what dude had on him. So if the agricultural guy wanted to take a bus and he paid in singles, would they call the cops on him too?
Probably.
What you using them singles for, boy? I don't know, because that's what I had.
What are you running from?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just going to see my sister. She lives there. So, yeah, he was on his way to Indianapolis. He was clean-shaven, shaved his beard, mustache. They said, quote, he had tattoos on his arms and hands, and he had on a jacket and heavy shirt, which was kind of suspicious for this time of year because it's fucking warm out. He's got it over his prison gear. He also had an open pocket knife in his pocket, so he had it open, ready to cut somebody. And he had his $42 bus ticket.
$42.
42 singles. Now, that's suspicious, I'll tell you something. The deputy warden of the work farm said that although the farm had escapes in the past, no guards have ever been killed because they don't need to kill someone. Right. You can just walk away. You don't need to do that.
Sake. Right.
Yeah, that's why we don't do that. Now, poor Cash, the guy who got murdered, he worked there for 9 years.
Wow.
Married, 3 children that all work there. Want to hear the kicker, Jimmy? Thompson was eligible for parole on December 21st, 1989. He had 3 years left in jail, man.
And
he's been in jail.
Somebody.
Yeah, he's been in jail pretty much for 15 straight fucking years. Yeah. And he had 3 years left, and he said, no, I need to get out now by bashing this guy in with this fucking claw hammer.
What a waste.
Yeah, the guy who ran the whole place said up until today, he was a good risk. Of course, he proved us wrong. Yeah, by doing that. They said, obviously, there'll be additional charges for that. In court, he testifies. And he is asked, quote, you couldn't handle that amount of freedom at the farm, could you? Which I think is great. They yelled at him, could you? The defense attorney, in his closing argument, said that Thompson had no reason to escape and no plan to escape. Well, then why the fuck was he on a bus, clean-shaven, with a dead guy? Escapes do occur there, but no employee's ever been hurt during an escape. So if Eugene wanted to escape, he could have simply walked off.
Yeah, but he didn't.
But that's the thing. Why didn't he then? That makes it even worse to me. If I'm in the jury, I'm like, so he didn't have to do this and he did it? He just has a bloodlust? Yeah, let's put this guy away. So
that's the defense attorney giving up on law.
Right? I give up. This is his only way to say that he said it wasn't premeditated. He said Mr. Cash was killed after he happened to ask Eugene to help hook up the van to the tractor. How could Thompson have known that he was going to be asked to do this? Mm-hmm. That's his excuse. Mm-hmm. Obviously, it was spontaneous. How would he have known he was going to have opportunity to murder the man? So they find him guilty of murder again. Of course. On this here, he is. It's a murder, and in sentencing, they use the Gladys Deskins murder as a statutory aggravator.
Sure.
Because he already did that. And sentencing comes around here. And before sentencing, though, they want, I guess his attorney asked Sister Cheryl Clemens, who was a nun who had been in the convent several years ago when Cash was there. I guess they were both in a convent. He was in a priesthood or whatever the fuck, and she was in a convent. They both withdrew, apparently, from it eventually. And she said that she wanted to send a clear message to the jury. I was simply going to say that we had discussed the case and she supports the teachings of the Catholic Church, which is opposed to the death penalty, but she also never wanted him released again. It possibly could have made a difference if the jury had known how Mrs. Cash, the widow of the victim, felt. They don't let her talk, the nun or the widow, to say they don't want him put to death.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they don't present that evidence, and because the defense isn't going to fucking call them,
right?
Isn't going to call the victim's wife, and then the prosecution isn't going to call them up to say spare him. So he goes up, death penalty on the table, and the jury says, "You, sir, may fuck off. Death penalty for you."
Good.
Now he gets the death penalty. So yeah, I think he blew it.
I think. If anybody's
2 is one
working on earning it, he's done it. He's earned it.
Fool me once, shame on me. You know what I mean? Come on now. So, meanwhile, they said that while the Commonwealth attorney, Bill Cunningham, who did all of this, said that while he believes in the death penalty, he wants to work for changes in the Kentucky law to change the method from electric chair to lethal injection. This is in the 80s, mind you. He said, we've had electrocution since 1911, and at the time it was humane as opposed to hanging. But in 1986, it's barbaric. We put animals to sleep in a more humane way than we do human beings. The time has come for a change. Okay. A 1984 law, by the way, allows life sentences without the opportunity for parole for 25 years. That's the stiffest sentence since the life without parole sentence was struck from the law books in 1974 in their state. So they could either give him the death penalty or he could probably be paroled there. So that's the difference. So they said that they wanted him. They didn't want him out again, basically, was all there was to it. They said that he said, I had a larger concern in that that's all of the corrections officers, he said as well. So to have him in the extra security would probably be better also. So why was he in that minimum security? He had passed all the things. The deputy corrections secretary said the guy's adjustment with us was relatively good, except for the murder part. Jesus Christ, that's a lot. Don't come out and say that. Yeah. They said, I don't know of any prison system, state or federal, that as a matter of course receives an incarceration report on anybody they receive. They probably should. Jesus Christ. So 1988, Robert Sykes, the driver there, who escaped and was found in Florida and put back, he dies in prison in 1988.
Okay.
So he's dead. Now, Woody.
Yeah.
Remember Woody?
Oh, boy.
You remember ever hearing Woody got convicted of shit or charged?
Nothing. Yeah.
Nothing. His case got delayed in the 80s.
Yeah.
1998.
Holy shit.
27 fucking years later.
Yeah.
A judge comes across the charges in 1998 when he's reviewing languishing criminal cases. I would say that's languishing, 27 years.
Yeah.
The judge assigns the Christian case for a status conference after he finds it to be pending. 1999, Christian and his attorney file a motion to dismiss the case. Later, Christian asks Coleman to enforce the immunity agreement that he said he agreed to.
Right.
Now he brings up, listen, bullshit, we're even having a trial. I was given fucking immunity for this. That's why it keeps getting 27 years. That's why it keeps getting delayed. Apparently, every time a judge wanted to put it out there, it would come up, the immunity thing, and since it was kind of off the books, it was kind of a messy situation, so they just pushed it off to the next person.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to deal with this. And then it ends up 27 fucking years later.
Jesus Christ.
So in 2000, it all comes down to court, and in 2000, Woody Christian pleads guilty to voluntary manslaughter as part of a plea agreement.
And is released from prison?
Well, he could have been sentenced to between 2 and 21 years in prison. His attorney said sending him to prison at this point really serves no purpose.
Right.
It's been 28 years. He hasn't done anything else to warrant this. He hasn't killed anybody else. Can we say it's fine? He said that he's lived a quiet life with his family over the years, and he lives with the guilt of the murder. And isn't that enough at this point? He also said his client that thought that because he testified against the other men, it would never be brought to trial. But a special prosecutor, Assistant Attorney General Karen Timmel, fucking Karens, argued that there was no such agreement.
Well, Karen?
She just said, no, there wasn't. Then why the fuck did he do all that? He just felt like being a good citizen? What are we talking about? At an earlier hearing, she recommended that Christian receive 20 years in prison. That's their recommendation, the state. In a recent interview, Woody Christian said that he had asked the prosecutor to put their deal in writing back in the day, but the prosecutor refused, saying that if Gladys Deskin's family found out, quote, there would be hell to pay. Probably.
About 28 years.
He said the prosecutor just told him, quote, I'll take care of you. And he said, I'd have never gotten up there to testify if I hadn't had some assurance.
All right.
Why would he? Yeah. His father, Edward, also testified during this hearing that prosecutor even told him at least 5 times that Christian wouldn't go to jail if he cooperated, that his son wouldn't go to jail. Edward Christian, the father, testified that he brokered the deal. That's why he knows for sure that's what the fucking... I wouldn't have told my son to do it unless they said, hey, you're not going to go to prison if you do this. That's why I fucking told him to do it. Now a district judge who was a lawyer at the time, according to Supreme Court records, that Runyon told him in 1980 that the case would be taken care of, whatever that means.
Yeah.
He further said that when the case came back in 1988, the prosecutor who originally gave the immunity told him to ask for the case to be dismissed and it would go away.
Okay.
He said, just let's have that one go away. You don't want to deal with that. So this is the prosecutor. Like, I fucked this one up. I gave like an off-the-table deal. So let's just, wow. But in an interview, This judge now said that Runyon, who was the original prosecutor, never mentioned any immunity deal with this guy. He just said to dismiss it. Jesus Christ, man, this is fucking crazy. So in 2000, a 2000 hearing is held to determine if Christian was offered a deal in exchange for testimony. The judge decides he doesn't have to determine if there was a deal, and that's that. So he pleads guilty and all that kind of shit. So they call, during the sentencing, they call Deskin's daughter in, who was Barbara. Barbara says that as the ringleader of this, he's the one who arranged all this, he should serve the maximum time. She said the family shouldn't be punished by prosecutors' failure to bring him to trial. She said, I begged the court to give him the full time in prison. Okay, so that would be 20 years as the max. Yeah. The judge says, you, sir, may fuck off 20 years in prison.
Okay. More?
20 years total.
Okay.
Gives him 20 years. It was between 2 and 20.
Yeah.
Well, we'll talk about it. Okay. So he will receive 18 months credit for time he has already served and will be eligible for parole in 4 years because he's serving 20. So there's a delay, though. There's another appeal. It all goes on because now it's really coming out about these prosecutors making these out of the way deals. And his attorney said the case should have been dismissed a long time ago. This is ridiculous. 2001, the Kentucky Supreme Court sends the case back to the circuit court to determine if there was an immunity deal in place. The judge here determines that such a deal was made and vacates his conviction.
Oh boy!
And dismisses the indictment against him.
Okay.
So then the state appeals that, saying, no, reinstate that. Okay. 2002, the state Supreme Court affirms the decision to dismiss the indictment against Christian. Then it goes all the way up to the Supreme Court again here, the state Supreme Court. And the state Supreme Court in 2003.
God damn it.
32 years after the act.
Yeah.
Finally says that they say he pled guilty in 2000, blah, 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 blah. They said that he, because of a secret deal in exchange for his testimony against the three others, he would not do the time that they said. The Commonwealth's attorney said that, no, it didn't that the deal never happened. And the judge said, it's pretty murky. We're going to say it happened. This has taken place over 30 fucking years. They said it happened because it laid dormant for more than 20 years. It was part of a backlog in Pike County that at times exceeded 1,000 criminal cases.
Jesus
There is
Christ.
not a lot of people here.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's 1,000 backlogged in fucking, in Los Angeles, but not in here. There's not that many people. Yeah, this is just they're not doing it well. So the former prosecutor said it laid dormant, as many cases do, because the judges didn't want to take responsibility.
Yep.
They heard it's cloudy and they were like, fuck that one. Delay that shit. So the judge, Eddie Coleman, who rendered the decision 2 years ago that reversed the conviction, said that as a result of the case being done now, justice was served. He said the important thing is that it was resolved, and it was resolved fairly. Not everybody believes that, though.
No.
Editorial pages. Angry.
Boy.
Angry. He's been out for 30 years. What are we talking about? It's 30 fucking years. Yeah. Really? He'd have done his time and been out even if he got life by now. Right. He would have been out a long time ago. So they said, here's an editorial in the Appalachian News Express, local newspaper.
I'm sure it's a great, reliable paper.
Hard-hitting journalism here. Quote, we know miscarriages of justice are nothing new to the Pike County judicial system, but seldom has justice been so blatantly and bloodily aborted as in the case of the 1971 killing of Gladys Deskins.
Jesus Christ.
Whoa. Yeah. One of the daughter, Barbara Hale, who is the Deskin's daughter, said that she made more than 100 trips to Pike County from her home in Michigan trying to get the case resolved, and that her family has no confidence in the justice system of Kentucky. She says, quote, it's not right to lose your mother than to have to go through this. It's not fair. Okay. That's fair.
So he didn't serve 28 years in prison and then be let out? Okay.
No, he never was in prison.
Wow.
He never did time.
Holy
That's
shit.
it. He was held for 18 months in the beginning until the trials were over, and then they let him out on bond because he did his duty that he was supposed to do all the testifying. And then he just remained out. That was that.
Wow.
So 2006 comes along. Now Billie Jean appeals based on Woody not getting any time. He goes, we were together. Fuck that.
Yeah.
He should, he doesn't get time.
I would have never murdered again.
Well, he says that he has two alternate theories. First, he argues that sufficient evidence exists to infer that the prosecution elicited, condoned, or did not correct the occurrence of actual perjury at his trial. He's saying Christian lied.
Oh, boy.
Then he's saying there's not enough evidence to infer that the perjury actually occurred at his trial. That's what the prosecution says. He contends he's still entitled, even if that's the case, to relief based on withholding of materially exculpatory evidence. Yeah. It's a Brady violation, he's saying. They said, and they looked at it. The trial court based its ruling on the following findings. They said that he had he failed to demonstrate any perjury was actually committed. No transcript of his trial exists. There's no transcript of his trial.
What?
There's appeals. There's no transcript of the trial. The Kentucky just was like, I don't know, it's cold. Throw some paper on the fire. Some old court documents.
I got this old transcript. He's in jail to death. Fuck it.
Them are thick. Put it on there. That'll last a while. Now you got to twist it. Simulate kindling. He said when Christian testified at Boone Deskin's trial, the first of the co-defendants to be tried, he was never asked about any possible plea deals or incentives for testifying. And neither appellant, this is him, Billie Jean, nor his attorney have any memory of whether Christian was asked about any possible plea deals or incentives at the trial. He says that Christian was asked about and denied the existence of any of the deals. That's what the state is saying here. He's saying the state says that the attorney acknowledged that while he does not remember whether he specifically asked about a plea deal, he believes it was his habit at the time to ask such questions. So he doesn't remember doing it, but he probably would have. That's a standard question.
Yeah.
What are you getting for your testimony in exchange? It's the first thing the fucking lawyers ask.
Of course.
Literally the first fucking thing. And even in the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial, they ask everybody, what are you getting paid to be here right now? They work for these people. And they're like, well, aren't you getting paid to be here? Like, yeah, I'm an accountant. Yeah, of course I'm being paid to be here. I'm not his fucking buddy.
Right.
So they said that evidence is material under the Brady Doctrine. If there is a reasonable probability that had evidence been disclosed to the defense, the result of the proceedings would have been different, then it should be taken in. But in this case, they say that's not the case. Denied, fuckhead. Get back to prison with your fucking Billie Jean ass. Moonwalk your ass back to prison and look at people's buttholes, my friend. 'Cause we ain't interested in you.
We don't really care about us.
We don't give a fuck about any of that. And so as far as I know, he is still in prison. Billie Jean there. Well, he's got the death penalty, so he's awaiting whatever the fuck happens there because I haven't seen that he was executed. So
he'll probably die in there.
He'll probably die in there. And there's that. And then Woody, I couldn't find him. So he's I think he's laying low is what it is.
Stay out of trouble, fucker.
He's trying to stay out of trouble. And then obviously Sykes is dead and Boone is dead and Gladys is obviously dead.
Wow.
And that, everybody, is Raccoon, Kentucky. And what a fuck, exactly what you'd expect from Raccoon, Kentucky. No?
More characters than a stripe on a coon's tail.
That's more characters than a stripe on a coon's tail, buddy. I'll tell you what.
Unbelievable.
That is a crazy, batshit, insane story. Right from a 15-year-old working for fucking hard labor and board for 5 days. That's crazy. The whole thing's crazy. Holy shit. If you enjoyed that story, tell us, and more importantly, tell the world about it. Get on whatever app, whatever platform you're listening to. If you can review, give us 5 stars and say whatever you want. Say something nice. It does help drive the show up the charts. So thank you for doing that. And also do that. Listen to Crime and Sports as well if you haven't listened. Wow, crazy shit this week. Just check it out. Trust us on that. And then also listen to Small Town Murder Express every Friday, obviously, for shorter small town murder cases. These are the cases that are too crazy to not do at all, but not long enough to fill a whole regular episodes. So it's a lot of dynamite packed into an hour package. So check that out.
All aboard.
Also, all aboard. Choo-choo. And as a matter of fact, you should get all aboard our social media. Follow us. We are at Murder Small on Twitter, at Smalltown Pod on Facebook, at Smalltown Murder on Instagram. That will get you all the...
Oh, yeah.
Keep you updated on everything, basically, all the new episodes that come out and everything like that. Also, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com.
Yeah.
Right now, all of anything you could need for crime and sports or small town murder and small town murder, merchandise, Murder Birds shirts, the color. Shut up and give me coloring. The books are up. They're cool too. The coloring books, they really are. All sorts of stuff. Tickets to live shows throughout the whole year. If you see any that are sold out, but you really want to go, check back once in a while because people are allowed to return their tickets because these are rescheduled from 2020.
Yes.
So they are allowed to return them, and once in a while they do. And a lot of times it's the week of the show. They're like, oh, shit, if I want to get my money back, I better do it now since I live 1,000 miles away.
Yeah.
And then you can buy the tickets. So
also,
Deep
that. South New Orleans. We're coming to you this summer. It's coming up. It's like 2 months away.
New Orleans.
Get tickets now, you bastards.
A couple of them that we know there's tickets. New Orleans.
Yeah.
Tickets are available for that. And the Pabst in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Milwaukee. Let's do this, Milwaukee. You guys, we love Wisconsin. We love the people in Wisconsin, and it's a fun fucking time. You guys, with this, if you sell this shit out at the Pabst, you will punk Chicago hard. Really. You will displace Chicago as our number one live show place. I'm telling you right now.
You will make a giant statement in my ego head that things can happen from this.
And Madison people, I'll make a deal with you. I know Madison's an hour away. I know we were originally supposed to be in Madison also, but then with the rescheduling, it got pushed away.
Shuffled over to the Pabst.
If you sell this fucking Pabst out, we will come to Madison next time. How's that?
Go.
We'll make sure that they put it on the list. We'll come to Madison next time.
We'll skip Milwaukee.
And you won't have to drive there, and the Milwaukee people can come over there, and they can drive an hour. But sell out the Pabst for us. Thank you so much for doing that. That's shutupandgivememurder.com is where you get all that stuff. Patreon on fire now. My God, on fire like this woman's neighbor's house, or this the house down the creek from her. So patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all the bonus materials, and you get for $5 or above. You not only get Small Town Murders bonus episodes, you get crime and sports bonus episodes too, and usually they cross over. They are of interest to everybody. Even if you don't like sports. For instance, this week, the 2 episodes you're going to get for Crime and Sports, it's about, now we know nothing about racing or NASCAR, so we wouldn't do an episode like that for a bonus, but it's a guy that showed up at a race in like 1979, had no experience, had faked qualifications that he brought, some paperwork, and then got in a NASCAR race. Just some dude off the street, crashed like 5 times, right out of the gate. I mean, you can't, as you would. Then disappeared. No one ever heard about him again for 40 years.
As you would.
And then, like a month ago, he popped out of nowhere and said, I'm that guy that did that. I'll tell you all about it. It's fucking hilarious, as you would. He's the D.B. Cooper of NASCAR or sports. So check that out. And then for Crime and Sports, we have or for Small Town Murder, we have an amazing one. Speaking of Dustin Lynch, the murderer, not the country singer, from a few episodes ago, that they said that it was all Grand Theft Auto 3 that caused his violence. We're going to go over the times in history where pop culture things were blamed for very violent things. He killed his friends because he heard that song and shit like that. We'll hear all about that. We'll find some crazy examples of that right from West Memphis 3 on down, or on up, whatever you want to put it. So we'll do all of that and more. Patreon.com/crime and sports. And you'll get a shout out, goddammit, at the end. You just wanted the shout out and great karma. You can do that over at PayPal using our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. That said, God damn it, from everywhere, from the holler tops, I need to hear the list of the wonderful people who keep this show going and are our best goddamn fucking listeners that you could ask for. Jimmy, hit me with them like a claw hammer and a dairy farm.
This week's executive producers are Alicia Johnson, Cindy Phillips, right out of the gate. It's all fucked.
All fucked out.
Michelle Hansen, Jordan Bennett, Amber Warsnack, Allison Gowdy, John Bloomfield. You guys, truly, we can't do this without you, and you really
so
are amazing. Thank you So
Yes,
much.
you are.
Other producers this week are Kaylin Bancroft, happy birthday, James Martyr, Peyton Meadows, Thomas DeMello, and his friend Mike Oxmall. Are you happy? Are you proud of yourself, Thomas?
Yes, I think he is.
Fucking Jesus. Steve Schnell, Thomas Smith, Cody Leversey, Jennifer Ward, Janice Hill, Regina Beerholtz, I think, Stacy Nielsen, happy birthday, Deandra Bobo, happy birthday and anniversary. And Ryan Bobo, her husband's in Space Force, James. He's a Space Force man.
What does that mean? What does he do?
He's one of those Space
in
Forces.
space?
You know how we have the Army in the space? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, but they're not in space, though.
No, not yet. They're just training for it for the interstellar space fights.
Congratulations on that.
Ryan, you're an amazing guy. The interstellar
When
space
the aliens
fighter.
come, fight them off, please. Thank you.
Heidi Browning, the Jake 207, Martha with no last name, Heather Holmgren, Annie Hamill, I think, Puck Wookie, Alvin Catabay, Kevin Layer, like layer cake, I guess, Brian Cloud, Rebecca Yates or Yeats, Jonah Comu, Christopher Adcock, SF Niners. That's the San Francisco Niners, James.
I would think so, yeah.
Jay Guthier, Jerry Martinez, Max Peterson, Karen Polishik.
Something Polish.
Hugh Duffy, Caleb with no last name, Whitney with no last name, Guthier Hoare, James, George Nicholas, Aaron McDowell, Jill Captain, Shirts with no last name, Carrie Woolley, Jay and Dubs, Libby Farrell, Sam Behrens, Kathy Long, Nicole Bentley, Justin Sherman, Rai the Muffin Guy, Molly Fletcher, Leslie with no last name, Ashley Longstreet, Christina Jensen Nessie, Morgan, Gravenmeyer, under there, James.
God, it's coming.
There. Andrew Day, Rowe with no last name, Chonky Fruit Bat, Kathleen Churchrand, Connor Watson, Brittany Donor, Rachel Scholten, and Scott, Angia Lennon? Angie. It's probably just Angie.
It's Angie.
Nah,
What's
probably.
up, Angie?
Jamie Slater,
Angie.
Cameron P., Bruce Clark, Caleb Overby, Lori Stakowicz, and Joe Stakowicz. That's sandwich in the
Stakowicz
probably
brothers.
the correct spelling. Brother and sister, Lori and Joe. Or you know what? We don't fucking know. How am I supposed to know? Matthew Brewer, Alexandra Poss, Patricio Favila, Heather with no last name, Apnawaki. I don't know. I'm never going to pronounce that. Charlene Littleton, Elsa Williams, D. Woods, Bailey with no last name, Leanne Muller, Kelly Manjang, Alan Hofensberger, Sean Hagen, 1 cent, Andrew Gracie, Emma Doyle, Leslie Clippadaldo.
Clippadildo?
Yep.
Alexia.
Alexia.
On your belt for later? It's a good way to carry it.
Right on your pocket.
Doesn't fit in the pocket well, so you got to clip it to your belt.
You got to
buckle
clip it
later.
right there. Clip a dildo.
Like a flashlight.
Oh, poor Leslie. Alexia Cox. Katie with no last name. Joseph Parker. Jake Dressel. Jennifer Hansen. Jason Campbell. Stone Raymakers. Joan Mollett. Dusty Wilson. Will Burton Edwards. Joan O'Brien. Sidney Franco. M. Roswell. Anders Smilnix. Anders Smilnix. Knits. Fuck it. Anders, God damn it. Kyra Spikes, Mark Bowling, Tiana Aversa, Betsy Schaub Robinson, Liz with no last name, Rihanna Worstel, Dozel, Nicole Stodel, I don't know, Stodell, Jesus Christ, Tiffany Beans, Jen Langen Bachrath, Kat Plowski, Nicole Sonsberger, Sarah Ellis, Mary, she's a Catholic in the South, James. Beatrice Sinnermain, Paulie Beals, Christina with no last name, Margie Patterson, Christy, Wedham, Kale G, Trish Katz Collins, Mary 5C4L, Mariskow, is that what that is? Danielle Abercrombie, Nick Porter, Sean Martin, Brianna Barrett, Brianna, Tyler Simonton, Emma Rader, Sophie Hyungs, Chris Nayum, Shaitana, I don't know, Cheryl Walton, Craven Bose, Blue Moon, Jason Forbes, Angie Ball, William Raymond, Joe Yu, Julia Johnson, Blair Scott, Daniel Sepulveda, Kelly Gillingham, Adam Metzger, probably Timothy Everett, Joe Mendoza, Tegan, Alex, and 3-month-old Heath. All 3 of them. Jesus.
Wow.
Christopher Reyes, Mohammed Mafaris Sultan, Emily Main, Ali, Fanjoy, Samuel Gucci Ardo, Nate Nussbaum, Jenny Ferguson, Stephanie Baker, Ashley Blake, Richard Roberts, Laura Guerrero, Andrew Brown, Chris Noonan, Zachary Kinovsky, Dalton Gilmore, Sienna Johnson, Brett Davis, Trent Orr, Gilliam Odom, Elena Bradenberger, Nicholas Oliver, Darius Thompson. I'm doing fantastic. Lori Douglas, Old Man Groobies, Marcus Ariano, Shonda Edgerly, Jane Doe, Mike Peace, Jenna Talia. What?
Okay, that's a decent one. I've never heard that one.
Well done. I'm impressed with that one. Christy Mathis, Shannon Russell, Holly Coleman, Shelby Pike, Trisha Galugilis, Karen Smith, Brandon Baxter, Samantha Hall, Tina Jenkins, Marisha Bodwin, Brenna Segal, Grace with no last name, Richard Cruz Blanco, almost called him Richard, Amber Harmon. It's all about the Mets, James. Love the Mets. All right, Mets, let's get a home run, baby. That's what somebody wanted me to say.
All right,
Laura Correa, he still hasn't asked. Laura's boyfriend, fucking figure it out. Lisa Ann,
together.
Joe and Alice Mullen, Megan Rodriguez, The One, Susan Lafayette, Gavin Meyer, Eric Bernard, Martha Shakalaka, Taljard, Cheyenne Thomas, Amanda Frazee, Daniel Diaz, Vernell Parker, C. Trott, Megan Rivers, Alyssa Sampson, Adam Papineau, Bailey Schultz, Daniel Peters, Mark Poirier, James Largent, Casey Yazdani, Eilish, Lynch.
You all right?
I don't know. Brian with no last name, Andy Ray, Josh Elder, Allison with no last name, Beth Jones, Mandy Oglesby, Dana Owens, Jimmy Dykes, probably. I think that's right. Kat Paterat, Denise Darsh, Kristen Middlestead, Tara Guthrie, Michelle Jett, Colby Barnes, Tyrell Howard, Sean Pickled Onion Erskine. Joel is a dingus whore. I don't know if you know that, James, but he is.
I do now.
Joelle, maybe. Emily Kirby, happy birthday. And Mavie got engaged. Congratulations. I think it's Mavie. It could be Mavie, Maeve, Mavie.
Congratulations, Mavie,
and all of our patrons. You guys are fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Group of folks.
Unfucking believable. We appreciate all that you do for us. Thank you so much, and thank you for keeping it going. And more crazy Patreon coming for you in the coming weeks here. If you want to get a hold of us, very easily done. We told you the social media for the show. Our social medias, just go to you can find them on our site. Go to shutupandgivememurder.com.
That's where it is.
The links are there, or just Google Small Town Murder Podcast Host. There's only us. If you find anyone else, let us know so we can kick them in the dick. That said, I think it's time, everybody, to take a break from the holler. Till Friday, anyway, when we come back with another crazy-ass show. But let's do it. And until next week, everybody, it's been our pleasure.
Bye.
If you like Small Town Murder, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.